You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2203 2203 Chapter 482, Fun Hai Yun 4. Zhang Qi looked at him and raised his palm lightly before smacking it down. This palm strike was incomparably powerful. It was beyond imagination. Wan Tiansheng was first surprised, then relieved, and finally, a helpless smile appeared on his face. You, as expected, that idiot Fun Hai. Wan Tiansheng sighed helplessly. He had thought of this before, but other than Fun Hai's traces, it was really hard to find anyone else. Zhang Qi. No, this shouldn't be Zhang Qi. This was a three-generation body, an incomparably powerful three-generation body. A single three-generation body might not be much weaker than Fun Hai. He was already at the end of his rope. Killing the sun and moon was still possible, but killing such an invincible three-generation body was hopeless. Today, he had killed two invincible ones. It was already shocking. No matter what, he could not win against the third one. When Wan Tiansheng saw the giant palm descend, he sighed and muttered, Fun Hai, that idiot, was really doing it for personal revenge. He had also figured it out. There were two people who had betrayed him. One was even earlier. It was him who had disguised himself as Yi Batian and fought with Fun Hai. It was him who had humiliated Fun Hai and incited his demonic nature, because Fun Hai was the easiest to incite. As expected, Fun Hai took the bait. He was treated as a chess piece, a target. Wan Tiansheng looked at him and thought of many things. The information about Yi Batian should have been taken away by this person, including Fun Hai targeting the Lu family. Perhaps it really wasn't the Lu family that he wanted to destroy, but this person, no. Fun Hai's subordinates, might have been sent by him. Wan Tiansheng instantly thought of many things. He laughed. Fun Hai, this idiot, was only a chess piece from the beginning to the end. He did not know anything. He was burned by anger, and he was controlled by anger. Fun Hai only wanted to kill Yi Batian. He wanted to kill Lu Wenyan. Perhaps, his subordinates had all come to Fun Hai's doorstep and become his blades. In reality, the master behind them might not be Fun Hai. Including Howling Wind Sword, Golden Wings, and the others, there was a high probability that they were all his subordinates. They had only deliberately joined Fun Hai's subordinates to make Fun Hai mistake them for his people. Jin Yi had killed Qin Yong for the tombstone, and Fun Hai. What did he want the tombstone for? Fun Hai did not care about that thing at all. What he cared about was the person in front of him. Wan Tiansheng was only a little curious. Out of curiosity, he did not resist. Instead, he transmitted his voice, Can you tell me why you appeared at this moment? If you did not appear, we would have thought that the traitor was only Fun Hai, you would not have been exposed at all. At this point, Fun Hai was dead. If this person didn't appear, no one might know that there was still a traitor. Even if they were suspicious in their hearts, with Fun Hai dead, everything was in the past. Who could find out anything? This person might have never made a move. He wasn't the one who killed Yi Batian. He wasn't the one who had made a move several times. He only watched silently from behind, silently watching, silently instigating some people. As long as he did not appear, or was still quietly hiding behind the scenes, who would be able to find him? This was what the 10,000 heavenly saints was curious about. Just to kill us? Perhaps, we have posed too much of a threat to you. Perhaps that was the case. Zhang Qi looked at him. Not only did his palm fall on him, it also fell on the entire southern Yuan. It fell on the ruins, covering all directions, he said calmly, just because you didn't find anything doesn't mean that no one found anything. It's just that they didn't say anything. However, since all of you are dead, naturally no one will say anything. As he spoke, he looked into the distance and said calmly, Minister Huang, don't you agree? Minister Huang was currently working together with Xian Jia to deal with the two invincible three-generation bodies. When he heard this, he turned his head and sighed, "What does it have to do with me? It's not like I'm the one who suspects that there's another person. Who do you think I am?" Zhang Qi was slightly taken aback. "You." Minister Huang smiled. "You can't possibly think that I'm some newbie, right? You're really wrong. I'm not. I'm sorry." Zhang Qi did not say anything as his large palm descended. Minister Huang was helpless. "If I'm really not the one who suspects you, why would I not believe you? I haven't even thought about this." In the next moment, he shattered his mask and smiled. "If you don't believe me, why don't you believe me?" Zhang Qi's expression changed slightly. At this moment, Wan Tiansheng was suppressed to the point that he couldn't move. He also forcefully turned his head to take a look. It was a little unfamiliar, but he really didn't recognize it. Strange. The invincibility of the human race. On the other side, Zhu Tiandao suddenly sent that immortal king flying from a building. He panted as he cursed, F***ck, Niu Bendao, I've already said that I'm not my boss. Why don't you believe me? Look, didn't he come out? How many times have I said that I'm not him? I'm not him. If you insist on saying that it's me, you idiot, you're only 200 or 300 years old and you've been kicked in the groin. Niu Bidao was stunned for a moment. He looked at department head Huang and then looked at Zhu Tiandao. The two of them were vaguely similar. Department head Huang smiled. Manor head Niu, it's been a long time. That, you. Niu Bidao was stunned. At this moment, no one cared about the fact that the 10,000 heavenly saints was about to be beaten to death. This was because it was too unexpected. Even if they could care about it, there was no way for them to intervene. Their enemies were all here. Zhu Tianfang greets everyone. Minister Huang smiled. He was very handsome. My brother, the sky is square and the earth is round. I'm not Zhu Diyuan. Zhu Tiandao couldn't help but curse, he has the same name as father. He's just a boorish old man, I even changed his name, Zhu Tiandao. Yes, his real name was Zhu Tianyuan. Niu Bidao was dumbfounded. After a long time, the head of Department Huang was the son of Darming King, his eldest son. He didn't die, and he didn't transform into Zhu Tiandao. He was Zhu Tianfang, he had never disappeared, he had always been there, but, no one knew. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2204 2204 Chapter 482, Fun Haiyun 5. As for Minister Huang, he was already invincible more than 100 years ago. In other words, Zhu Tianfang had already attained the Tao. Zhu Tianfang apologized once more, Principal Niu, I'm sorry. Back then, my father actually found 2 relics. He was going to give you one, but you didn't manage to snatch one. You scolded him every day. He got angry and gave birth to me in the end, so he gave it to me. He said that your luck was too bad and it was a waste to give it to you. I'm sorry. The surroundings were frighteningly quiet, so much so that no one cared about the falling palm. There was nothing they could do about it. Zhang Qi seemed to have thought of something as well, and his expression changed slightly. At this moment, a river of time flowed through his body. It directly pulled his original body. The heavens battlefield couldn't stay any longer. He thought that department head Huang was the person he thought of, but it turned out that he wasn't. In that case, he was wrong. If he was wrong, then it was dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Minister Huang was one of the unexpected people. The eldest son of the great Ming king actually existed, and he wasn't dead. Not only was he not dead, he wasn't Zhu Tiandao either. At some point in time, he had snuck into the heavenly battlefield, he had entered the heaven hunting pavilion and become Minister Huang. At this moment, Zhang Qi realized that there was something he hadn't calculated. Actually, he had guessed many things. He had seen and realized that the minister of the Huang division shouldn't have been Zhu Tianfang, but Zhou Tianyuan. Zhou Tianyuan, the younger brother of the great Zhou king, the little Zhou king. He had investigated, including some of Zhou Pulong's experiments. He knew that he had once guessed whether that person was really dead, whether he was hiding somewhere, whether he was secretly suspecting something or investigating something. Therefore, after Fan Hai and Myriad Heaven Sage suffered heavy losses, he wanted to kill Myriad Heaven Sage and eliminate Department Head Huang and the others. He had the confidence and strength to do so, and no one present was stronger than him. However, he had guessed wrongly. Department Head Huang was not that guy. Instead, he was someone who was completely out of his expectations. Department Head Huang sighed. To receive the true body, it seems like you're going to kill us all. He smiled. Indeed, that fellow is right. From the looks of it, there are at least two of them. How could Fan Hai hide his true identity from everyone? Someone must have been lying to cover for him. Even Fan Hai might not have known that someone was covering for him, and he even thought that no one had discovered him. Actually, Fan Hai had already made a guess. Hindsight. Someone scolded Zhu Tiandao, why didn't you say so earlier? Who told you? Does father know? I know. Division Head Huang smiled and sighed, I'm just afraid that it's too late. This is really a big fish. This person's reaction was too fast. He revealed his true body just to stall for time and fight for a chance of survival for the 10,000 Heavenly Saints city. In the end, this person actually pulled his true body without saying a word. As expected, that fellow told him not to underestimate this person. He had underestimated him. He was too decisive. At this moment, on the battlefield of the heavens, the great Zhou king frowned slightly as he looked into the distance. Sighing, he shook his head and said, "You. I really don't dare to believe it, nor do I want to believe it." With a sigh, he no longer cared about Qin Zhen, Zhou Polong, and the others. In an instant, he broke through the void and charged into the distance. Zhou Polong, on the other hand, also frowned slightly. He felt a little helpless. It was too fast. Seeing that Qin Zhen was still in a daze, he sighed. What are you looking at? Don't prove your Tao. Run. Huh. Run. Zhou Polong roared. My uncle has left. You still want to watch? Watch your grandpa. Idiot. Before the others could react, run. Only then did Qin Zhen react and immediately followed him to escape. The few invincible humans outside were also stunned. Without saying anything, they all attacked the invincible humans that were blocking their way. However, they were all a little stunned. They looked into the distance, where a person was slowly leaving through the open time passage. As for the great Zhou king, he quickly attacked, directly crossing the river of time to kill the other party. However, that was no ordinary invincibility. The few invincible humans were all at a loss and at a loss. This was the first time, after becoming invincible, that they were so at a loss and at a loss. He betrayed them. When Fan Hai betrayed them, everyone thought, oh, it's him. No wonder. Fan Hai's temper was so explosive. Later on, he attained the Tao. If he betrayed them, so be it. At least he was exposed. When Fan Hai died, they heaved a sigh of relief. Oh, he was dead. Now, they were at ease. But when that person disappeared into the river of time, the great Zhou king was roaring furiously. They were also at a loss. Why? The great Zhou king was also roaring furiously. Why? Tell me, why? Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten our oath to conquer the heavens together? The man opened the river of time and walked towards the human realm. He said calmly, I haven't forgotten. I've never forgotten. However, I can't see any hope. I can only see the future as a bloody color. I can only see the future. The aura of death pervades the air. I can only see you in the future. The me in the future will die. I can only see that if Ebadian succeeds, all the races in the heavens will surround and kill the humans. I can only see that this day is no longer the heaven of the humans. Brother Zhou, I'm sorry. I just want this human realm to be peaceful for another 100 or 1,000 years, even if it's just an illusory peace. I'm sorry. Why? You can tell me, you can tell me. Why did you do it? Why did you betray me? It's not enough for you to incite Fan Hai to betray you. You even wanted him to kill Ebadian. Do you know that you've made a big mistake that can't be undone? That person looked at him. Didn't you already suspect me? Didn't you? You and I have the best relationship. If you didn't suspect me, Tian Yuan wouldn't have faked his death and Palong wouldn't have hinted to me again and again. The many divine languages department should be destroyed. Brother Zhou, you're a little indecisive. You're not suitable to be the head of this civilized teacher. He smiled and said, it's just my intention. If I lose, Brother Zhou, please don't vent your anger on the others. Besides me, there's no third eternal traitor among the human race. As soon as he finished speaking, that person had already disappeared from the heavenly battlefield. The great Zhou King roared crazily and angrily. He was unwilling to believe it. He tore through the void and swiftly charged toward the human realm. Soon, several invincible experts of the 10,000 races charged over with shocked expressions. Even these people didn't expect that this person would betray them. It was possible for many people, but this person was far beyond their expectations. Someone said in disbelief, what does the Dark Han King want? What does he want? This fellow, he has been in charge of the search stage for many years. No wonder. But no one thought that it would be him. Because he had been in charge of the search stage for many years and didn't care about anything, the 8 great clans were unbridled and had a great relationship with this person. Everyone didn't suspect him. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2205. 2205 Chapter 483 Time Reversal 1. The great Han King had betrayed him. At this moment, everyone was in disbelief. Even the great Zhou King was in extreme pain. He did not wish for all of this to be true. Tian Yuan, stop him. The great Zhou King roared angrily. He, who had always been calm, was now completely furious. I already said it was him, but you didn't believe me. At this moment, the void trembled, and the river of time suddenly began to tremble. The river of time that ran through the human realm was cut off by a divine text in the endless void. Reverse time. With a light shout, several divine texts appeared. The expression of the great Han King, who was about to step into the human realm, changed slightly. In the next moment, he retreated a bit and instantly reversed time from outside the human realm. His expression changed completely. Zhou Tianyuan. The Dark Han King frowned slightly. Behind him, an expert appeared. He wore a golden mask and cupped his hands toward the void. He smiled faintly and said, "Brothers from the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, I'm sorry to have troubled you. Zhu Tianfang and I are only borrowing the positions of the 2 tribes temporarily. I'll return them to you this time." He smiled. In the endless void, within the Heaven Hunting Pavilion, several invincible figures ran with the hall on their shoulders. F*CKU. The head of the Xian department was Zhou Tianyuan, and the head of the Huang department was Zhu Tianfang. F*CKU. Why don't the 2 of you just die? The head of the Xian department. Zhou Tianyuan, the little Zhou King who was rumored to have fallen. At this moment, He laughed coldly as he looked at the great Han King who was flowing back in the river of time and space. He said coldly, "Back then, I suspected that you were the one who betrayed me. My big brother didn't believe it. Alright, I proved everything to him. I was indeed right. Big brother was wrong. Lu Jin, you want to go to the human realm? Have you asked me?" The great Han King looked at him and returned from the river of time. He sighed, "I didn't expect you to have reached this step. You're even more proficient in the art of time than Wang Hu." Little Zhou Wang sneered, "I've long been wary of this move of yours. No one in the human realm would suspect you, no one would believe that you were the one who betrayed me, but I believe that it was you. I don't seem to have shown anything, right?" The great Han King said calmly, "I haven't done anything before this, right?" Hee hee. Little Zhou Wang sneered, "Really? A long time ago, there was a rebellion among the generals, and it wasn't you who did it? At that time, I discovered some abnormalities. As expected, you've long been preparing for the betrayal." The great Han King didn't say anything more. With a rumble, he stepped through the time and returned with the current. At the same time, beams of light pierced through the human realm. Human realm. The minister of the Yellow Division shouted. The river of time had opened, and he wanted to pull his true body down. At the same time, a loud voice sounded from all over the universe, and he, Tian Dang, pull your true body down to the human realm. The loud voice pierced through the universe and all the other worlds. The human realm had 6 undefeatable figures. Lad didn't have any other bodies. The Underworld River King died in battle, the Dragon King had his second body broken, and the other 3 undefeatable figures were only 3. At this moment, the various races had orders from the Emperor to pull their true bodies down. Not only that, in the endless void, more than 10 undefeatable beings made their moves and started to fight with the Darming King and the others, killing their way into the human realm. They killed those experts who had gathered in the human realm today. Especially those from the Multidivine Script Department. These people were not undefeatable, so they had to kill them first. Also, they had to take the tombstone. Now, the great Han King's betrayal was out of their expectations. An expert roared, "Surround and kill Zhou Tianyuan," helped the great Han King. In an instant, 7 or 8 invincible experts charged at the great Zhou King and little Zhou King, not giving them a chance to stop them. Not only that, the son of the great Han King, Lu Wuxian, who had the same name as the great Xia King, also had a complicated expression on his face. He roared, "Father, are you really going to betray the human race? You don't even care about your son." He roared angrily and took the 3 incarnations. The past, the future, and now, the 3 incarnations appeared. He said sorrowfully, "Your son, I, have attained the Tao today. Father, are you going to the human realm to kill them, or are you coming to save me?" The great Han King stopped and turned around with a complicated expression on his face. Lu Wuxian said indignantly, "My father is a hero, a peerless hero. He is not a traitor." "No, father, are you going to abandon the Lu family and the Han family? Just because of the uncertain future you saw?" "Father, I am going to verify my Tao. If you go, you will see your son killed here today." Just as he said this, the 3 peerless experts who were about to attack suddenly froze. They received the message and very quickly, the 3 peerless experts looked at each other and laughed before leaving. Lu Wuxian's expression changed, and he suddenly flew into a rage. "Scoundrel, scoundrel, come and kill me." His 3 bodies forcefully merged into one as he chased after the 3 peerless experts. He roared angrily, "Come and kill me. Father, they killed me. Do you really not care about all this?" Someone said with a faint smile, "King of the Great Han, don't worry. We won't hurt Lu Wuxian." The king of the Great Han frowned and said coldly, "Shut up. I'm doing this for the human race, not for you animals." "Ha ha ha, yes, 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 King of the Great Han, the multi-divine literature system will not be destroyed, and the destruction of the human race is already a foregone conclusion. The war between all the races in the universe will definitely break out, and the multi-divine literature system of the human race will be the fuse. What you saw, it can't be wrong. The great Han King sighed and once again stepped into the river of time, walking towards the human realm. As for Lu Wuxian, he roared crazily, "No, don't. Father, they did it on purpose, everything they said is fake. Once you enter the human realm, they will definitely kill me. Father, you are the hero in my heart, not a traitor." No. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2206. 2206 Chapter 483 Time Reversal 2. Rumble. At this moment, his three bodies merged into one. Multicolored light burst forth from his body, and countless yuan qi gathered towards him from all directions. Lu Wuxian was about to attain Tao. He was about to become the #1 person to attain Tao today. And what was strange was that no one from the human race was protecting him. The myriad races, no one was trying to kill him. Instead, he was chasing behind the three unrivaled myriad races. However, these three people were trying their best to leave as far away as possible, as if they were avoiding him. They were afraid that the great Han King would misunderstand. Don't misunderstand. No one is here to kill your son. Even if your son has attained the Tao, it doesn't matter. Go on, hurry up and kill the 10,000 heavenly saints and the others. At this moment, a large number of invincible experts appeared. Someone flew towards the river of time created by Minister Huang to stop his true body from descending. Someone charged towards the great Zhou King and little Zhou King to stop him from pursuing the great Han King. The few unrivaled humans who had previously protected Qin Zhen and the others were no longer protecting them. They all charged towards the great Han King, and even more unrivaled humans stopped them. Zhou Pulong, Zhou Patian, and Qin Zhen fled. Zhou Pulong looked around and realized that there was no longer any unrivaled humans. They were all chasing after the great Zhou King and little Zhou King, and he shouted in a low voice, "Attain Tao." Qin Zhen was stunned. Now. Hurry. Nonsense. If not now, when? Lu Wuxian was about to succeed in Tao attainment, but no one paid him any attention. This was probably the first time a human had achieved Tao attainment. Everyone was gathered over there. The human realm was more important than killing these people. It was more important to let the great Han King descend in an instant and kill those guys. Chaos. At this moment, Zhou Polong and the others split up. They immediately began to retrieve the three incarnations to achieve Tao attainment. Someone wanted to kill them, but little Zhou Wang roared, "Reverse time." Rumble. The Dark Han King retreated once again and roared, "Zhou Tianyuan, you're courting death. Dark Han King will help you stop him." At this moment, the four unrivaled experts who were about to intercept Zhou Polong and the others turned around and flew over. The remaining two began to chase after the three. Not far away, Lu Wuxian roared crazily, "Father, do you have to be so stubborn? Do you want me to self-destruct here? If you really betray me, I will definitely kill you. I will kill you to wash away my Lu family's Qingming." The heavens were in chaos. The original arrangements were in chaos. Including Xiao Longwu's side, the invincible ones looked over. The great Qin King's face was ashen, and he wanted to kill his way out again and again, but he held back and gritted his teeth. "It's him, it's actually him. Bastard. Damn it. Lu Jin, why?" The great Qin King roared, and the great Xia King's expression was ugly as well. He gritted his teeth and said, "It's him. Longwu, don't test your Tao anymore. Old Qin and I will go kill him." "Okay." Xia Longwu nodded, and the two experts started to break out of the encirclement. Tian Zhu, Wang Hu, and Jian Tian, the three of you will escort Xia Longwu out. It doesn't matter if we don't test our Dao today. We won't stop until we kill Lu Jin. The two invincible experts roared and charged out. Their killing intent shook the heavens. At this moment, the invincible experts surrounding them all felt their hearts palpitate. What a powerful killing intent! The humans were going crazy. The great Han King was one of the top 10 experts of the human race, and he was one of the top 5 powerhouses in the exploration realm. To put it bluntly, other than the great Zhou King and the great Ming King, the great Han King could be ranked third. Of course, there were also the great Shang King and a few others whose strength was on par with his. However, no matter what, the great Han King was one of the most senior and strongest group among the group of unrivaled experts. If they really encountered the great Xia King, they might not necessarily lose. Stop them! Someone shouted coldly, stopping these two top-notch unrivaled experts of the human race. And at this moment, an undefeatable human roared, "All of you, prove your Tao and attract their attention. Pray for your own good fortune. If they don't kill you, then we'll have one more undefeatable. If you succeed, then we'll kill them. Kill you, run. If you don't kill Lu Jin, then I swear I won't be human." The group of undefeatable humans no longer protected those quasi-undefeatable humans, and they all charged over. More and more undefeatable humans gathered over there. Under the tug of war between the great Han King and the great Zhou King, the passage of time became wider and wider. The great Han King's expression was calm. He coldly said, "If this tug of war continues, the passage will open up to a huge extent, and all the races will be able to directly enter. Have you all considered it?" The moment these words were said, the eyes of some of the unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races in the surroundings flickered. The river of time was indeed vast and boundless under their tug of war. The great Zhou King's expression changed as he angrily said, "You want to collude with the myriad clans? How dare you? It's fine if you think that there's no hope for the human race, but if you collude with the myriad clans, even if you die, I will grind your bones and scatter your ashes." At this moment, more and more invincible experts were gathering in this direction. Those quasi-invincible experts who were about to attain the Tao all had ashen expressions as they fled in all directions. Some of them directly began to attain the Tao, while others were in the midst of fleeing. They were also looking for a place to attain Tao. This was a mess. At this moment, Xia Longwu, who was escaping, gritted his teeth and shouted, "Attain Tao! All races, come and kill me!" Boom! The river of time was pulled apart. 1, 2, and himself appeared. 3 Xia Longwu appeared in an instant and forcefully merged together. Xia Longwu shouted, "I will attain Tao. If I succeed in attaining Tao, I will slaughter all races. All races, come and kill me." The moment these words were said, an invincible celestial shouted, "Give up on the others and kill Xia Longwu. Everyone else, go and help the great Han King. Cut off Zhu Tianfang's original body's time passage." At this moment, with a plan, those invincible celestials no longer cared about the other humans. They all gathered in 3 directions. The first was on Xia Longwu's side. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2207. 2207 Chapter 483 Time Reversal 3. The second location was the great Zhou King's side. The third location was the time passageway that Zhu Tianfang had opened up. As for Lu Wuxian and the others who had verified the Tao, there weren't many people who cared about it anymore. Of course, they weren't completely unconcerned. However, there were very few people, and they weren't top-notch experts either. They were all ordinary people. Just as the 10,000 races were in the endless void, in the instant of the battle of the heavens, a violent roar resounded through the heavens and earth. The multicolored light shone for thousands of miles. Lu Wuxian was like a mad demon. I've succeeded, I've succeeded. Father, do you have to do this? Do you have to betray me? The millions of people in the Dark Han Palace, where should I go? Father, what should I do? Don't tell me that you want me to betray you as well. Rumble. The aura on his body rose explosively, becoming stronger and stronger. He flew towards the Dark Han King and said angrily, Father, you can't do this. The great Han King snorted coldly and stepped on the river of time. He said coldly, do you really want to stop me? I've already said that I'm not betraying the human race. I just don't want a great war to break out between the human race and the many divine languages department to be destroyed. I've killed those people and I'm at your disposal. I won't resist. If I can't, I'll kill a few of the 10,000 races and perish together with them. I have no intention of betraying the human race. I only want the human race to survive. He said angrily, Brother Zhou, can't you understand me too? The great Zhou King shouted in a low voice, and divine runes shook in all directions. The divine runes of the little Zhou King appeared, and an incomparably powerful divine rune suddenly exploded. The great Han King punched out, and with a loud rumble, the time passage trembled. The invincible races shouted, help him maintain the opening of the passage. In an instant, 7 or 8 invincible races took action and helped them consolidate the time passage. At this moment, they were fighting in the passage of time while the unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races were helping them consolidate the passage. Behind them, Lu Wuxian brought with him thousands of miles of multicolored light that illuminated the entire heavens. He charged over in a frenzy and roared continuously. On the human realm side. Southern Yuan. The future body of the great Han King, Zhang Qi, frowned slightly. He didn't make a move and walked into the passage of time instead. He shouted coldly, who can stop me from receiving this body? After saying that, the future body charged into the time passageway. In the ruins, Suyu was also furious. The great Han King, how could it be possible? Impossible. He had even learned the great Han King's strength word divine script. How could it be that he had betrayed the human race? He had also guessed that there was a second one because he had seen the appearance of an invincible figure with patterns. The burning sea from before did not seem to have one. However, even if there was a second one, it should not be the great Han King. This was the top 10 strongest manners in the human realm. These manners were also people who were good at fighting. How was that possible? At that moment, a few invincible people were receiving their true bodies. Minister Huang was also receiving them, but he was stopped by someone. He roared angrily, Second brother, verify your Dao. Quickly verify your Dao, quickly. Zhu Tiandao gritted his teeth. Alright, then verify your Dao in the human realm. Don't blame me for sucking the great Xia Manor's Yuan Qi dry. At the next moment, the 100 Dao pavilion appeared. This was his future body. The river of time opened, and in an instant, another Zhu Tiandao appeared. His opponent, the immortal king, was receiving his true body and did not bother with him. Now, the main forces of the myriad races, including the main forces of the human race, were gathering at the great Han King's side. In the endless void, more than a dozen invincible experts were besieging the great Ming King in company. They were only pestering them and were not fighting for their lives. Why were they fighting for their lives? All they had to do was pester them. A few invincible true bodies were being pulled. Once the true bodies descended, Zhu Tianfang's true body wouldn't be able to go. It wouldn't be enough to rely on a 3-generation body. At this moment, the black armor also roared and started to merge with the 3-generation bodies. The original cult master and the others were also preparing to attain the Dao. The furious roars continued. Attain the Dao. Attain the Dao. All of the quasi-unrivaled experts were roaring. The quasi-unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races were powerless. How could they have the ability to ascend to the Tao and obtain the object? Furthermore, this was a human realm expert who was attempting to ascend to the Tao at the human realm. Stop fooling around. If he were to ascend to the Tao here, he would just wait for death. Within the ruins, Suyu sent a person flying with a single punch. His rage soared into the sky as the aura of death gathered even faster. He wanted to kill all of these fellows. At this point, there was no need to hold them back. He wanted to kill all of them. He wanted to go to the heavenly battlefield, find the stone sculptures, and have them take action. He could no longer afford to waste his time here. Boom! Go to hell! Suyu roared angrily and punched down. A loud boom resounded through the heavens and earth. The Heavenly Abyss tribe's cursed soul was smashed into powder by his punch. However, the other party did not die. In the next moment, the little furball flickered and instantly devoured his sea of will. The little hairy ball, which had just swallowed a sun-moon divine text, had almost fully digested it. It seemed to have entered the mountains and seas because there seemed to be a cloud of heaven yuan qi descending from the sky. However, at this moment, the ruins were filled with heaven yuan qi. Suyu did not care. The little hairy ball swallowed his sea of will. With a boom, it seemed as if something had exploded. Exploded. Suyu. A mournful roar sounded, and the 9th-level Sun-Moon Realm expert who was protecting the cursed soul continued to fight with Qin Hao, madly charging over. The cursed soul had been killed. The 18th on the heaven roll. This was also the first heaven roll genius to die so far. Suyu didn't care about any of that. The aura of death was boiling, and his anger soared to the sky. The great Han King's betrayal had shocked everyone, and they were also incomparably furious. How could this be? You are a prefecture opening expert, and you are an existence that protects billions of people. How could you do this? His aura of death was overflowing with power. At this moment, the City Lord token on his body trembled. The City Lord token was in his sea of will. At this moment, he vaguely heard someone say, "Restrain yourself. The aura of death is too dense." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2208. 2208 Chapter 483, Time Reversal 4. Suyu was a little surprised. What was going on? Voice transmission from the stone statue. It was so powerful that it could transmit sound across the heavens. It could even see that its aura of death was thick. In the void. The stone statue looked around. He was just a stone, hiding here and not moving. No one cared about him either. He was also considered a living dead. A living dead that had lasted for countless years. If he did not move, it would be difficult for even the half-emperor to discover him. He seemed to have seen through the heavens and saw the great Han King and the others fighting. He saw the great Ming King and the others fighting outside the boundary wall. Then he looked at the human realm, then at Nan Yuan, and then at the rapidly recovering 10,000 heavenly saints, then he looked at the human experts who were trying to achieve Tao. He felt that something was wrong. Lu Wuxian was the first to succeed in achieving Tao. It was extremely easy and hard to imagine. Not only that, not only did the 10,000 races not kill him, but the two invincible experts were pestering him and playing house with him. They were afraid that if they killed him, the great Han King would go crazy, he would no longer descend to the human realm. In other places, the human experts were all frantically attempting to attain the Tao. Some were being surrounded and killed, some were not, and some already had hope of attaining the Tao. Strange. As the stone sculpture spoke, he felt that something was strange. He then looked at the great Han King in the time passageway. With his three bodies united, he began to battle the great Zhou King and the little Zhou King. He then looked down at the 10,000 heavenly saints. He had killed 2 invincible 10,000 heavenly saints. If you had wasted a little more time just now, you could have killed him. How dangerous would it have been to leave him alive? If he didn't kill the 10,000 heavenly saints, what was the point of giving him time to recover? Around the great Han King and the others, there were at least 20 invincible humans gathered. There were even more of the 10,000 races, close to 40. It was 2 to 1. However, at this moment, both sides were fighting around the passage of time. The humans wanted to cut off the passage, but the 10,000 races were protecting them. Protecting was harder than destroying. Even if there were 40 invincible races, in order to maintain the existence of the passage, they would have to expend a lot of energy. The stone sculpture felt that something was strange. At this moment, in the various great realms, one by one, the incomparably ancient existences sent their willpower out of the various passages to watch the battle. Waves of incomparably powerful willpower covered all directions. Demon World. The Devil Emperor watched for a while and frowned as he thought about something. Divine Realm. The Divine Emperor was also calculating something with his fingers, but it was all gray. He immediately frowned. Was this battle a disadvantage or an advantage? Immortal World. The ancient Immortal King was silent. He didn't see it because his willpower had just been sent out, and it was gone. This wasn't the first time. Over the years, there had been several times. Every time, as long as his true body didn't descend outside the immortal realm, such a situation would occur. His connection with the outside world was practically severed. His will stretched out. As an ancient immortal king, his will was incomparably powerful. It wasn't a problem for him to scout out the passageway and check the heavens. But over the years, every time he stretched out his will, it was gone. It vanished into thin air. Not a single trace was left behind. He frowned as he counted with his fingers. He couldn't help but frown, feeling a little irritated. How many years had it been? What had happened recently? And outside the immortal realm's world wall, a furry ball floated in the air. It opened its mouth and swallowed the willpower that came out. How fragrant! It had been more than 300 years, and it had eaten it more than 10 times. Yet, it was still so fragrant. As for 300 years, to it, it was just a snap of the fingers. To be able to eat so much delicious food in such a short period of time was very satisfying. As for eating inside. Sorry, I won't go in. I'll eat outside. It's too dangerous to go in. That Tian-gu was still very powerful. Perhaps, he was the most powerful in the myriad realms. Of course, it was hard to say, but it was better to eat outside. Just as he was thinking, a figure appeared. No, Ball Shadow. Boss, you're here too. The big hairy ball looked at the new big hairy ball and casually greeted him. It was as if he had just gone out to buy some vegetables and forgot to go home. The big hairy ball was a little confused and nodded. You're waiting here to eat Tian-gu. Yes, it's fragrant. The big hairy ball thought for a moment. Tian-gu isn't delicious. It's too difficult to eat. Why don't you eat this? Big hairy ball suddenly stretched out a pair of small, awkward hands and pointed at a time passage. That was the time passage used by the immortal king to receive his main body. Why don't we eat him? On the immortal side, the sea of will was fragrant. After living for a long time, the fragrance was more intense. Coincidentally, this person was still receiving him, so the time passage was obvious. The cue ball thought for a while and said, if we eat this, what about the heavenly ancient? Let's put it aside for now. If he comes out, we'll eat him. If he doesn't come out, we'll just eat here. The immortals will be fragrant. The big hairy ball gave a suggestion. Eat a few more, and he'll come out. The cue ball nodded. It made sense. The leader was still the smartest. The two balls instantly disappeared and appeared in the time passage. At this moment, the immortal king's two incarnations merged into one and rushed towards the human realm. Suddenly, his heart palpitated slightly. What's wrong? Is the human realm very dangerous? Yes, it is dangerous, but now that his three incarnations are in the human realm, how could there be any danger? Just as he was thinking about it, a voice sounded in his ear, "Leader, one for you, one for me, he has two bodies." Okay. As soon as he finished speaking, one for each ball, and then nothing else. Would it be difficult for the two hairy balls to deal with an immortal king who had only merged his two lives into one? No difficulty. No difficulty at all. Just like that, it was gone. The two lives were still there, but the sea of will and divine runes were gone. The vessel was still there, and so was the physical body, but everything else was gone. The person wasn't dead either. There were no anomalies for thousands of miles. No, the future body was still there. The two hairy balls disappeared in an instant. It was quite fragrant. The cue ball was very happy. The owner was really powerful and smart. He had eaten delicious food the moment he arrived. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2209. 2209 Chapter 483 Time Reversal 5. And in the human realm. The immortal king was still receiving his original body. He could already feel it, it was almost here, it was coming. He was delighted. This time, I will kill Zhu Tiandao and take the one tombstone. I am the first invincible person to completely descend. As for Fun Hai, he was dead. To be able to kill the invincible Wan Tiansheng, he was crippled. Xian Jia and the rest had yet to reach the Dao realm, and the head of the Huang division was stopped by someone. I'm the first. And I'm also the strongest next. Just as he was thinking, his expression changed. Suddenly, his future body trembled and started to shake violently. On the other side, Zhu Tiandao cursed, "Shameless, stop trying to seduce me. I haven't reached the Dao realm yet. This shameless immortal king. He actually pretended to be injured, seriously injured, and tried to seduce me to kill him. This bastard, do you think I don't know that your three incarnations are about to descend?" And at this moment, the three incarnations descended. No, it was a carrier and a lifeless corpse. The body of the current body, the carrier of the past body. The two hairy balls didn't care about these things, they only cared about eating. Zhu Tiandao was stunned. What did this mean? Pass a corpse and a vessel. What did this mean? He was stunned. As for the immortal king, he was coughing up blood and was also extremely stunned. It was true. He had lived for thousands of years, and this was the first time he was at a loss and collapsed. Where is my third life body? Where is my present and past? Did I cause a problem? That's impossible. Why? He didn't have the chance to ask, because although Zhu Tiandao was dumbfounded, he was pleasantly surprised. This. F***ck. What the hell was this? An immortal king's three incarnations were suddenly destroyed. At this moment, his future body was devoured like a rootless duckweed. This fellow was going to be finished. Zhu Tiandao was preparing to kill the immortal king, while the great Han king and the others were fighting in the void. At this moment, Suyu was extremely surprised. He transmitted his voice through the city Lord Token, Lord Stone statue. What kind of joke was this, transmitting his voice through the heavens? Damn! This city Lord Token, was it that powerful? Don't absorb the aura of death. This time, Suyu was sure that he didn't hear wrongly. Very quickly, he was overjoyed and hurriedly said, "Lord, I want to go to the heavens battlefield immediately. Dozens of invincible experts are chasing after me. Lord, please come and take revenge for me." How can there be dozens of invincible fighters chasing after you? In the air. The stone statue looked at it. Nonsense. There weren't dozens of invincible fighters in the entire human realm. Sir, there really are. I'm going to the heavenly battlefield immediately. Oh, I'm not in the heavenly battlefield. Then I can go to the ancient city. Not in the ancient city. Su Yu was stunned for a moment. An unbelievable thought arose in his heart. He transmitted his voice with difficulty, Sir, in the human realm. As soon as he was distracted, Zhan Wushuang sent him flying with a punch. He didn't care anymore. However, the stone sculpture transmitted his voice, hit him. He hit you. Don't you know how to hit him? Sir, you're in the human realm. Su Yu was instantly overjoyed. Sir, please cut off that time passage. Once he descends, we'll all be dead. At this moment, the stone sculpture was looking at that passage. He looked at it for a while, then looked at it again, then looked at it again. It was so stable. It was so stable that it was frightening. What the hell? There were dozens of unrivaled experts protecting this passage. All of them were unrivaled, and even half-emperors were unable to cut it off. In other words, when the great Han King descends, the city lord is dead for sure. The stone sculpture thought, no, I'm here. Su Yu won't die, and the others, who cares? Even though he thought about it, the stone statue still transmitted his voice, what's the rush? You won't die. But, sir, once he descends, everyone else will be beaten to death by him. Sir. I beg you, please help me. In the future, I'll help you bear the aura of death more. Xing Hong couldn't be bothered with him. He looked at the passage again as if he had seen through the heavens. He muttered, another one is about to succeed. The second invincible freshman of the human race was about to succeed. It wasn't anyone else, but that Zhou Polong. He was about to succeed. At this moment, an invincible tried to stop him, but he was temporarily trapped by one of his divine runes. Interesting. Under normal circumstances, there was more than one invincible genius in the assassination. This time, many of them had gone to other places. Xia Longwu's side was about to gather 20 invincible geniuses. As for Department Head Huang's side, there were 4 or 5 of them, while the endless void of the human realm had gathered more than a dozen. The 10,000 races had nearly 80 invincible geniuses in sniping the human race. Actually, there were more than that. There were also a few people at the human realm, as well as more than a dozen powerful experts who were fighting with Su Yu. Counting them, there were almost 100 of them. It was the first time in hundreds of years that 100 unrivaled experts were sent out at the same time. However, it was useless. On the contrary, not many experts from the human realm tried to stop them. They were all attracted by the Dark Han King. The stone sculpture looked at it for a while, but it was still puzzled. It felt that something was wrong. The half-emperors of the celestial race, the half-emperor of the demon race, and many other half-emperors felt that something was wrong. The human realm, wasn't it a little easier? Should he mobilize some more unrivaled experts to surround and kill them? Also, there were too many unrivaled experts gathered on the side of the great Han King. Including the human race, there were 60 to 70 people fighting there. One of the great Han Kings wanted to help him descend to the human realm, but he had already restrained dozens of unrivaled experts. At this moment, the stone statue was thinking, where is the ancient celestial immortal king? Why didn't he investigate? Why didn't he say anything? Oh, that person went. Will he be all right? I hope so. As he thought about this, he looked elsewhere. Suddenly, he looked at the minister of the Huang department, Zhu Tianfang. He was stunned for a moment. At this moment, Zhu Tianfang was receiving his true body, however, he was so far away from the time passageway of the great Han King. It was as if he was afraid that he would touch it and affect the passage of the great Han King. The stone sculpture shook his head and was a little confused. Could it be that after being in charge of the sacred city for so many years, I'm a little silly? Why do I feel like there are some things that I can't see through, but it seems like I can just blurt them out? However, at this moment, he only knew one thing. The glow of the sunset reflected the heaven and earth, and the second invincible human was about to be born. It was much easier than before. At this moment, not only the stone statue, the others also felt that something was wrong. Weren't the two invincible human beings born too fast? It was so fast that it was somewhat abnormal. This was too fast for him to reach the Tao. Under normal circumstances, it would be difficult for him to reach the Tao in less than a few days. The stone statue shook its head again. It was very confused. Perhaps his older brother could see something. This human was putting on one set after another, making him dizzy. If he was not convinced, he would just fight. In the past, humans were good at fighting, but today, they were putting on one set after another, one after another. As the stone statue thought about this, it sent a message to Suyu, it's not that fast. What's the rush? The great Han King is fighting with the great Zhou King and the others outside the borders. He has been struggling for 60 to 70 eternity. The great Zhou King is about to vomit blood from anger. Suyu was stunned. The great Zhou King was about to vomit blood from anger. That fellow was just an old tortoise. How could he vomit blood? He could probably endure the betrayal of the great Qin King. The great Han King had betrayed him. Was he in such a bad mood? Was their relationship so good? Suyu was also confused. 60 to 70 invincibility. The great Zhou King was fighting with the great Han King and struggling for so many invincibility. Was this the rhythm of the civil war between the human race and the 10,000 races watching the show? Your human race has 2 more undefeatable. Yo, that Zhou Pelong guy, he's already so powerful as soon as he attained the Tao. He beat the 10,000 races away forever. Yo, that Zhou Patian seems to be coming soon too. The Zhou family is so powerful. The stone statue seemed to be watching a show as it reported the news to Suyu. As for Suyu, he was stunned again and again. It had only been a short while, and he already had 3 more undefeatable. How was that possible? The Tao attainment level was very dangerous, but it was also very slow. One still had to wait for the unrivaled experts to kill and carry the objects. Otherwise, how could there be so many objects? What he didn't know was that at this moment, little Zhou Wang, who was also the head of the Xian department, was in the heaven hunting pavilion. There were few other places, but the heaven hunting pavilion had a few. And Lu Wuxian also had 2 objects. At this point, no one had thought about it yet. Perhaps it was luck. In the endless void, the great Han King flew into a rage. He beat little Zhou King until he vomited blood and beat the great Zhou King until he kept retreating. He wanted to go to the human realm. Reverse time. With a loud shout, little Zhou King was like an unkillable cockroach. He once again reversed time. The great Han King could not contain his anger. You're courting death. Father, don't kill him, stop beating him. In the distance, Lu Wuxian roared and shouted at the top of his voice, no, father, if you descend to the human realm will be destroyed. Don't. I won't destroy the human realm. I'll only kill those people from the divine literature department. The great Han King said coldly. Lu Wuxian said mournfully, Father, don't make the same mistake again and again. He was filled with grief. He wished that he could die right away to make his father change his mind. The great Han King once again killed his way to the entrance of the human realm. Little Zhou King once again roared, turn back time. The great Han King once again returned. He was incomparably mad and incomparably furious. Eternal myriad races, help me kill them. What you forced me to do is not enough. Give me a few more. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2210. 2210 Chapter 484 Second brother is reliable. 1. Battle of the Heavens. The great Han King betrayed and entered the human realm. The great Zhou King and little Zhou King tried their best to stop him. And just as they were fighting, today, the third death phenomenon shook the heavens. A mournful and unwilling roar resounded through the human realm. No. Human realm. The heavily injured immortal king was filled with despair and unwillingness. He was truly unwilling to be smashed into pieces by Zhu Tiandao's pavilion. Why? Where's my 3 incarnations? They suddenly disappeared. Originally, his combat strength was much stronger than Zhu Tiandao's. Even if he didn't merge his 3 incarnations into one and wasn't affected by the backlash, it would still be extremely difficult for Zhu Tiandao to chop off his future body. Merging his 3 incarnations didn't cause his strength to skyrocket. Instead, it caused him to suffer from the backlash. His strength slipped and his future body was like a rootless duckweed. In the end, he was killed just like that. He was not willing. Even if he died, he was not willing. He should not have died like this. He still had many wishes that he had not fulfilled. He still had many things that he had not done. He had not lived enough. He was not willing. He had died too aggrieved. He was even more unwilling to die at the hands of Zhu Tiandao. Rumble. The immortal world shook and the red clouds covered the sky. In an instant, all the worlds were shocked. Another one had died. It was the third one today. First, it was the Nether River King, then the Burning Sea King, and now, the Alderwood Immortal King had fallen. The 3 unrivaled experts had all died. They had all died in the human realm. The human realm was actually more dangerous than the heavenly battlefield. On the heavenly battlefield side, there were over 100 unrivaled experts, but not a single one had died. This was because this wasn't considered a life and death battle. Unless there was an opportunity, most unrivaled experts weren't willing to risk their lives. But on the human realm side, everyone was risking their lives. In the blink of an eye, the third invincible had fallen. Nanyuan. Everyone was dumbfounded. Zhu Tiandao was so strong. He killed an immortal king. Zhu Tiandao was also depressed. Don't look at me, why are you looking at me? You can do it. A heavily injured future body, a large number of humans could kill. What are you looking at? No matter what, they had to collect the corpses. They had made a huge profit. One of the carriers was broken, but now the body was intact. This was very difficult to obtain. Even if Invincible died in battle, it would be difficult for you to keep the corpse, let alone such a well-preserved corpse. It felt like they had picked it up. Zhu Tiandao was in a trance. It felt like he had heard of it before. No, he seemed to have heard of it somewhere. Oh, my father. Zhu Tiandao was in a trance for a moment. Yes, my father. My father was just like that. In the past, he had once picked up a complete and invincible corpse from the celestial race in the heavenly battlefield. Today, I also felt like I had picked it up. It was also very complete and strange. On the other side, the other human experts were also stunned. Tian Dang and Mo He, who were receiving their true bodies, had shocked expressions on their faces. The 3 bodies had descended. If they died, they would really die. Would they still need to descend to their true bodies? The 2 of them were about to die, but at this moment, they were a little terrified. It would be fine if their first bodies died, but if they ended up like the immortal king and the unlucky 3 bodies died, they would really die. For a moment, the 2 of them hesitated. Should they continue to receive their true bodies? If they were to receive their true bodies, the human race would definitely not be able to stop them. Zhu Tianfang, the head of the Huang department, could not receive his true bodies. How could he hope that Xian Jia and the others would be able to fight against the three bodies as one? But what was the situation on Zhu Tiandao's side? He was the second existence in the heavens today to kill invincible. Everyone was shocked. Su Yu too. Old Zhu killed invincible. Wasn't he hiding it too deeply? Deliberately luring the three bodies of others to descend and then killing them? What a good plan. No one paid attention to how the immortal king summoned his true body. They did not see that the two of them were fighting in a private space. The weak could not see, and the strong did not have the time to watch. In this way, it seemed that Zhu Tiandao was too abrupt in killing this invincible man. No one was prepared at all. If it were someone else, everyone would accept it, be it the black armor or the minister of the Huang department. But Zhu Tiandao, no matter how strong he wasn't that strong, right? He killed the immortal king just like that. Su Yu and the others were still in shock. At this time, Mo He and Tian Dang, the two invincible men, didn't have time to think about it. Three bodies had arrived. It was too late to regret. With a loud roar, the two of them combined their three bodies into one, and their auras soared. The Xian Jia and Huang division heads who were blocking them retreated one after another. They were bombarded by them until they kept vomiting blood. The two of them combined their three bodies into one. Zhu Tianfang shouted, "Second brother, you block one person. Xian Jia and I will deal with Tian Dang." Zhu Tiandao's face was ashen. "My brother wants me to die. Yes, to die. I know how I killed invincible. You two want me to deal with an invincible 3-in-1? Go to hell. Are you not going to stop until you kill me? Is this still a family?" He gritted his teeth and cursed in his heart for a long time, but he flew out with difficulty. He looked at the 3-in-1 demon King Mo and said indifferently, "Mo, why don't you come and play? I want to pretend. Let's not fight and chat more. Otherwise, there would be no way to fight here." The two unrivaled true bodies had descended. Mo's expression was solemn and he was not careless. This was an expert who could slaughter unrivaled experts. He was also the third unrivaled existence in the human race to date. The first was Yi Batian, and the second was Myriad Heaven Sage, Zhu Tiandao, the third person. On the other side, godly King Tiandang heaved a sigh of relief. It was still all right. Even if he had to deal with Zhu Tianfang and Xian Jia, he felt that it was much safer than dealing with Zhu Tiandao. He transmitted his voice, "Drag him. Wait for the great Han King to enter the state." Mo cursed in his heart. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2211. 2211 Chapter 484, Lao Er is reliable. 2. Why aren't you stalling? You asked me to stalling. Cursing was one thing, he quickly transmitted his voice, even if the great Han King entered the realm, he would only be dealing with the multi-divine literature department. Even if he betrayed the human race, he would only betray the multi-divine literature department. We still have to wait for the others to enter the realm. Stall them, I'll stall Zhu Tiandao, and try not to fight to the death. All right. The two invincible experts quickly came to an agreement as they cursed in their hearts. This human realm was too strange. Zhu Tiandao didn't look like much. No, he was still considered strong. However, he had reached the limit when dealing with a 3-generation avatar. F***ck, he had actually slaughtered an invincible expert. Suppressing, defeating, and killing were two completely different concepts. This meant that their strength was still crushing that of an ordinary invincible expert. It was too terrifying. Demon King Mo. He comforted himself for a while before entering a small space with Zhu Tiandao. Demon King Mo. He was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he looked at Zhu Tiandao, who was forcefully snatching his body away. He said indifferently, "It's not that simple if you want to verify your Dao. Zhu Tiandao, we came here this time for the sake of the Divine Literature Department, the One Tombstone, and your Zhu family. It has nothing to do with your great Ming King. Why should we get involved in this mess?" Zhu Tiandao was slightly startled. Very quickly, he roughly understood the other party's fear. "Right, I'm an existence that can kill an invincible. I'm afraid of him, and he's also afraid of me." After all, the other party was now 3 in 1. If he was really killed by someone, then he would die. Having lived to the point of being invincible, who would be willing to die so easily? Afraid of both sides. Zhu Tiandao felt much more at ease. He smiled faintly and said, "No one wants to meddle in other people's business, but this is the human realm. Since my Zhu family has stood up, we will not give up halfway. At the end, you are not a blood fire demon, and there is no need for you to fight me to the death. I don't want to die, and neither do you. Of course, I may not be able to kill you, but perhaps I can kill a second one today. I will attain the Tao, and you can watch the show. Right now, it's just the beginning. Why do you have to stand up from the beginning and be like others, setting off fireworks for the myriad realms?" Demon King Mo frowned slightly. "You attained the Tao. If you succeeded in attaining the Tao, wouldn't I be in even more danger? No, I can't give him the Tao. However, if I don't, I will have to fight. It's also dangerous. What should I do?" Demon King Mo. He was very nervous. Outside, godly King Tiandang could not wait any longer. He took the black armor and Zhu Tianfang to another dimension to fight. Nan Wujiang and Zhu Tianfang were both experts. At this moment, the other party had 3 bodies. He could still fight. On the other side, Lan Tian was also fighting with Lad. This time, out of the 6 invincible ones that descended, 2 died. The Dragon King lost 2 of his incarnations. The remaining 3 fought with the human experts again. However, on Zhu Tiandao's side, the 2 of them kept talking and no one made a move for a while. In the void, Xing Hong watched for a while and was speechless. Others didn't see it, but he did. The Immortal King lost 2 incarnations, so he probably knew what was going on. It was nothing more than what the half-emperor of the God-devouring clan or his wife had done. Speaking of which, the mother ball of the God-devouring clan had been gone for more than 300 years, so the little hairy ball on Su Yu's side wasn't big. The stone sculpture fell into deep thought. After a long while, he shook his head and didn't think about it. He could roughly guess that this clan was still terrifying. He looked at Su Yu's side again. At this moment, Su Yu was fighting with those geniuses. It seemed like he was polishing himself. His body was still strengthening. However, the power of the 8th layer of sun and moon. Xing Hong looked at it for a while and roughly understood what was going on. He then looked at One Tombstone and also recognized what it was. However, very quickly, his gaze flickered, and One Tombstone suddenly disappeared for an instant. The others almost didn't notice it, unless an invincible person kept staring at One Tombstone. Very quickly, One Tombstone appeared again. In Xing Hong's eyes, the sun and moon rotated as if they were playing it slowly, playing it countless times slower. Playing it back, he was somewhat surprised. Ancient Space Beast Clan. This clan had also appeared. Their strength wasn't weak. At the very least, they weren't weaker than that so-called Southern Boundless. Among the quasi-invincible, they were also ranked near the top, right? This was the 3rd place on the Tao Manifestation Board, Kong Kong. Xing Hong thought in his heart, but he didn't care. He knew that this was something belonging to Su Yu. Su Yu could go and get it himself. After a while, he remembered that he didn't come here to enjoy the scenery, nor was he here to watch the show. Su Yu had absorbed too much death qi. If this continued, it didn't matter whether Xing Yu could resist it or not, it had nothing to do with him. The key was that the death qi was too dense. This wasn't a good thing. If he really opened up the death channel of the human realm, it wasn't something that an ordinary person could bear. Su Yu, you can leave the human realm now. He sent a voice transmission. He was here to bring Su Yu away. He could watch the show at any time. There was no need for him to come today. If a group of invincible people entered the human realm later, he would just be watching the show. He didn't want to cause trouble here. He was much more invincible, so he had the mood to care about others. Although he was strong, he might not be able to defeat 3 or 5 invincible warriors. The last time he killed those guys, it was because they were weak. In addition, he suddenly made a move. Those people didn't expect it. The stone sculpture was a little absent-minded. Speaking of which, did I kill too many eternal 3 incarnations? He knew that lad below. It was better to leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be troublesome for these guys to take revenge. The endless void. The time tunnel. The great Han King was extremely furious. Zhou Tianyuan, don't you understand? If the multi-god text isn't destroyed, our human race will always fall into war. The chaos in the heavens stems from the multi-god text. You've stopped me time and time again. Do you really want to plunge the entire human race into death? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2212. 2212 Chapter 484 Second brother is reliable. 3. Time reversal. A low shout rang out once again. Little Zhou King coughed up blood and his aura was weak. He said coldly, even if I die, I will not let you have your way. Lu Jin. You executioner. Bastard. The great Han King was furious and retreated once again. Kill. The rumbling continued. The great battle broke out once again. In the surroundings, there were many unrivaled humans who participated in the battle one after another. They were unrivaled in all races and were also bathed in blood. In the distance, there were many quasi-undefeatable humans. Some of them had witnessed the Tao, while others were killed. In the end, one had to rely on luck to achieve the Tao. All races had undefeatable humans chasing after them in other places. Not all quasi-undefeatable humans could be undefeatable. Moreover, some of them did not have all their items prepared, making it difficult for them to achieve the Tao. Further away, on Xia Longwu's side, the great Xia King and the great Qin King were in a frenzy. The 2 top-tier experts had joined forces, and they had forced 7 or 8 undefeatable humans to continuously retreat. It was not that they were undefeatable, but they did not want to risk their lives. If they really wanted to kill these 2 unrivaled experts of the human race, would they be able to do it if 3 to 5 of them didn't die? But after living to this extent, who wanted to die? It was enough to tie them down. At this moment, the void trembled slightly. At the entrance of the devil realm, an illusory figure appeared. He looked towards the heavens and the boundless void. A figure that seemed to have existed since ancient times was looking in all directions. Very quickly, he looked in the direction of the great Han King. After looking for a while, the figure had already understood something. And at this moment, in the boundless void, the heavens and the myriad realms once again saw a ray of multicolored light reflecting the heavens and earth. This was the 3rd ray of multicolored light today. The first ray was Lu Wuxian. The second ray was Zhou Polong. The third ray was Zhou Patian. At this moment, the heavens were shaken. One sect was invincible. The Darming King and his family were invincible. This was already shocking. On the side of the great Han King, one family was also invincible. However, the situation of the great Han king was complicated. On the side of the great Xia manor, strictly speaking, there was only one invincible expert. As for the great Xia king, as for the 10,000 heavenly saints and the others who were invincible, they were not invincible after all. Now, two invincible experts had appeared in the great Zhou manor in an instant. Along with little Zhou Wang, who was pretending to be dead, the great Zhou manor had gone from one invincible realm expert to 4 in an instant. It was truly terrifying. At the same time, Qin Zhen was also stunned. So fast. Holy shit. So fast. Beside him, Zhou Polong and Zhou Patian were both trying to attain Dao. At this moment, the two invincible realm experts who were chasing after them were blocked by the two of them. They were engaged in a great battle in the void, and the invincible realm experts of 10,000 races were also coming over. Zhou Polong shouted, "Attain Dao. What are you waiting for? This idiot Qin Zhen is too slow in attaining Dao. How fast are we?" Qin Zhen looked at the two brothers suspiciously. Something wasn't right, something wasn't right. These two had already obtained 3 incarnations before, and had even begun to fuse as one. It was only now that they truly began to fuse. The Zhou clan had so many carriers. More importantly, even after obtaining 3 incarnations, their Dao attainment wasn't that fast. Reverse time. A loud shout once again resounded throughout the heavens. Qin Zhen was slightly dazed. Something wasn't right. Even he felt that his Dao attainment was accelerating. Time was accelerating. He was slightly stunned. Time was accelerating. It was as if something was accelerating him, making him feel that his fusion speed was much faster. At this moment, the Demon Emperor, who had just walked out of the realm, could tell as well. He let out a gasp. There were some sighs, and some sighs. Little Zhou Wang, Zhou Tianyuan. What a grand gesture. What a great ability. Time reversal. No, it wasn't. It was time acceleration. He was accelerating some people, not others, but the Dao protectors, and the various regions. There was an error, and all of the invincible races had an error. Time had been reversed. No, it was just that he had sped up other areas, causing the invincible races to have a deviation. Time was reversed. No, they didn't. It was Lu Wuxian and the others who had been accelerated. This was something that little Zhou Wang alone couldn't do. This required the cooperation of stronger people. At this moment, the Demon Emperor suddenly looked at a person. A person who was just a bystander. The great Zhou King. The great Zhou King instantly turned his head and looked in that direction. Through the endless void, thousands of miles away, they seemed to see each other. The Demon Emperor sighed. The #1 civilized master in the human realm. This was the true #1 civilized master in the human realm. The invincible ones who had gone were all shrouded in a unique domain by the great Zhou King. There was no lethality or danger, and the great Zhou King had used his unique divine text to create errors and misjudgments. This unique divine text definitely had the effect of keeping the crisis in silence. It had caused so many invulnerability experts to fall into a trap. So many experts, yet no one felt that something was wrong. No one felt that something was wrong. Didn't they feel that little Zhou King had reversed time too many times? How could reversing time be so easy? Retreat! The Demon Emperor shouted in a low voice, his voice spreading in all directions. At the same time, the great Zhou King's expression changed slightly. The instant he spoke, he transmitted his voice, "Do it." He had been seen through. Of course, he had expected this. There were so many top-tier experts. If he could hide it for a while, how could he hide it for the rest of his life? That would be underestimating these top-tier experts of the 10,000 races. Along with their shouts, the voice of the demon emperor rang out in the ears of the peerless experts of the 10,000 races. They were slightly stunned and retreated one after another. Although the demon emperor did not explain in detail, they were not stupid. Was there a problem? Let's retreat first. And at this moment, a sigh sounded, and a shocking roar resounded through the world. The time passage instantly exploded. At the same time, a huge hole appeared on the human realm barrier. The Dark Han King roared, "Follow me to the human realm and kill the human race." You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2213. 2213 Chapter 484 Second brother is reliable. 4. A furious shout swept through the four unrivaled experts, and they instantly entered the pit. All of them were unrivaled among the 10,000 races, and they wanted to struggle, but it was too late. They were swept down by him, and the hole in the wall instantly healed. They disappeared. The great Han King and the four unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races disappeared. The passage of time exploded, causing the unrivaled experts who were maintaining the passage to be injured. More than 40 unrivaled experts of the 10,000 races were here, but a few were taken away by the great Han King. There were still many left, but all of them were injured. The passage they were maintaining with all their strength had exploded, and the river of time was the most dangerous. When this thing exploded, the great Han King was also heavily injured, and his body was even unstable in the past and future. However, he still took away four unrivaled experts and brought them into the human realm. At this moment, the great Zhou King and the little Zhou King had an incomparable tacit understanding. At the same time, the two of them attacked an unrivaled expert. In an instant, the two of them went all out. Bang! With a loud bang, that celestial unrivaled expert's three incarnations exploded. He was already injured, but he was attacked by two powerful unrivaled experts at the same time. He didn't even feel any sense of danger, he was cut off by the great Zhou King. There was almost no time for him to escape. The three incarnations wanted to escape, but with a loud bang, the three incarnations exploded. The river of time was about to open, with a bang, it exploded. Rumble. Blood clouds descended, covering thousands of miles. The divine realm trembled slightly. Above the divine realm, an illusory figure fell and dissipated. Today, the fourth invincible expert had fallen. The dark race, the human race, the celestial race, and the celestial race each had an invincible expert that had fallen. And the human race had three more undefeatable warriors. No, at this moment, Qin Zhen inexplicably fused his three bodies into one at an astonishing speed. His three bodies fused into one, and his aura instantly soared. He was already powerful to begin with, but surprisingly, it was too easy for him to prove his Tao this time. Not long after, no one stopped him, and he succeeded. Boom! Rays of light shone in all directions. Qin Zhen was still baffled until the time passage exploded and the great Zhou King and little Zhou King attacked one after another, killing an unrivaled warrior. Only when the great Han King swept four unrivaled warriors into the human realm did he realize something. He opened his mouth wide and looked at Zhou Polong and the others. Zhou Polong's expression changed slightly. Retreat, we've been exposed. Qin Zhen sighed. You told me to retreat, let me verify my Tao, let me run, and then let me retreat again. From the beginning to the end, I didn't know what had happened. Of course, now I roughly knew. I have to run again. I've gone from the sun and moon to invincibility. Is it that simple? How difficult was it to verify one's Tao? Every time one tried to verify one's Tao, the success rate was less than 30%, and there was even a possibility that the human race would die. This time, one of the human race's invincibility died in the burning sea. Fine, he had brought it on himself. 3 of the 10,000 races had died, and the human race had gained 4 more invincible races. Wasn't it too easy? Run! Zhou Polong roared angrily. What was Qin Jin doing? Did he think that he was invincible because he had succeeded in the Tao? The 10,000 races had a huge number of invincible races, and their combat strength was 2 to 1. Was he really going to fight the 10,000 races to the end? At the same time, the 10,000 races in the heavens all paused for a moment. Countless experts were stunned. In the sky above the demon world, the demon emperor looked around and sighed. The human race had 4 more unrivaled experts, and the various races were unrivaled. Many of them were injured, and some of them had their 3 lifetimes blown up. Now, they might not dare to continue fighting. Some of the unrivaled experts in the human race were also shocked and inexplicable. They all looked at the great Zhou King. The great Zhou King shouted, "Let's go and protect Xiaolong. Kill those guys." Whine. The void was torn apart, and some of the invincible humans couldn't help but say, "The great Han King. Life and death are determined. He's injured quite badly, if we can kill those 4, sigh, good luck." The great Zhou King sighed and couldn't care less. There was no other way. The invincible humans were few, and the great Han King didn't take many with him, so the pressure was even greater. Therefore, even though the great Han King was injured, he still took a few people with him. As for whether the great Han King was killed by them or the great Han King killed them, who knew? He's not a traitor. Some people were pleasantly surprised. The great Zhou King didn't say anything, but the great Han King naturally wasn't. Some things were within the calculations. However, the great Han King was only wearing someone else's clothes, so that person couldn't say anything. That guy might have been stunned earlier, and even if he wasn't, he didn't dare to say anything. The great Han King suddenly jumping out to recognize this identity was probably beyond that person's expectations. Some things were true, and some things were fake. 50 years ago, they had been planning everything. Fen Hai's betrayal was true, Yi Beishan's murder was true, Fen Hai's instigation was true, the betrayal of some generals in the army was true, and there was another person who hid it even deeper. Of course, the person behind the scenes hid it too deeply. With no other choice, he took the risk. It didn't matter. The great Zhou King thought in his heart, no matter what, he made a profit. Not only did he kill an unrivaled expert, he also injured dozens of unrivaled experts. Along with that, he instantly verified the Tao of 4 people. That was already pretty good. As for that fellow, the great Zhou King snorted coldly in his heart. He was sure that he didn't dare to jump out. He had long investigated Fen Hai's identity. He only wanted to lure that fellow into taking the bait. Unfortunately, he didn't succeed. The great Han King was wearing his clothes, so the other party did not dare to come out and testify. The gods and demons might know that there was really another traitor. However, with that fellow's vigilance, the gods and demons might not even know who he was. However, they knew that there was this fellow among the humans. The great Zhou King felt a little regretful. If this fellow was a little impulsive, it would be more fun if he jumped out and testified that the great Han King was fake. That fellow's identity had been exposed, and he was stronger than anything else. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2214. 2214 Chapter 484 Second brother is reliable. 5. Now is good. The great Zhou King sneered in his heart. The great Han King had faked it once. If this fellow were to cooperate with the gods and demons again and jump out again, would the gods and demons dare to believe it? Could it be another trap of the human race? Could it be that this person did not exist from the beginning to the end? Perhaps even the gods and demons would be afraid and would not dare to take it seriously. Of course, all this could be hidden in one's heart, the great Zhou king shouted, "The great Han king is not a traitor. Only the burning sea of the human race is a traitor. We played along and destroyed the burning sea, deliberately disturbing the line of sight. Everyone, from today onwards, the human race is one heart. Old comrades, let's once again fight against the heavens." There was still one more person. However, if the great Zhou king did not say it, there was no more. No matter who that person was, there was no more. Unless he jumped out on his own. Fen Hai had killed Yi Badian back then. His actions were too obvious and had been known by others. As a result, everyone knew that there was a traitor in the human race. This had also caused the invincible human race to be terrified in the past few decades. Now, they had to dispel everyone's thoughts. There was only Fen Hai. There was no second person. If that fellow was really patient, he wouldn't have exposed himself. At the very least, he wouldn't have done so now. Unless he was a fool and wanted to die, the current him had to keep a low profile, just like the other unrivaled experts. The group of unrivaled experts from the human race were overjoyed. The great Han King wasn't a traitor. Along the way, there was a person in the crowd, so no one paid any attention to him. Lu Wuxian acted as if nothing had happened and blended into everyone's group. "I'm unrivaled as well, so let's all run together." As for the shouting just now, he almost cried and almost self-destructed. That was all in the past. Everyone, don't pay any attention to it. Speaking of being invincible in the Tao, who was faster than me? Who was simpler than me? Who was fiercer than me? Others were invincible in the Tao, and I was invincible in the Tao. I was invincible in the Tao, and I was invincible in the Tao. I was invincible in the Tao. I was invincible in the Tao, and no one dared to fight back. I was invincible in front of their eyes. And at this moment, the invincible of the 10,000 races had also thought things through. Some people roared angrily. They had gone too far. It was actually fake. Fake. Damn it. They had taken it seriously, and they also felt that it should be true. Didn't they see that the great Han King was hiding beside Fen Hai? Clearly, they had long known that there was something wrong with Fen Hai. If it wasn't for the betrayal, did that mean that the humans had long known about Fen Hai's identity? Damn it. They had been used. The group of people were furious, but they were also glad that the invincible one that the great Zhou King and the others had killed wasn't them, and the 4 that the great Han King had taken away weren't them either. Although the great Han King might not be able to defeat them in the human realm, after entering the human realm, it was still very dangerous. At this moment, the demon emperor sighed, shook his head, and said, "Surround and kill the other Tao protectors, surround and kill Xia Longwu." The human race now had 4 more unrivaled Tao protectors. No matter what, they had profited greatly this time. What was the demon emperor thinking about? He fell into deep thought. The human race, did the second person exist? At this moment, even he was uncertain. Burning the sea. Just burning the sea alone. With the great Han King causing such a ruckus, the next time an unrivaled human came to them and said that he was the traitor, they would work together to kill the human race, would they still dare to believe it? Wasn't he afraid that it would be another great Han King? At the same time, Silkworm Extermination King and the others were also shocked. They looked at the great Xia King and the great Qin King who were still fighting. The great Xia King and the great Qin King fought while retreating. They returned to defend Xia Longwu. The great Qin King said calmly, "What is this? Fen Hai's identity has long been exposed. Old Zhou insisted on using it. The 10,000 heavenly saints has been hiding for many years. Let him vent his anger and let them prove his Tao. What is this? F***ck. So you all know." The great Qin King didn't say much, and not many people knew. The great Zhou King, the great Qin King, the great Xia King, the great Ming King, and the great Han King were just a few of them. As for the descendants, some had been told, and some had not been told. Those who trusted their descendants, then told. Those who didn't trust. It wasn't that they didn't trust. Those who couldn't put on an act, then didn't tell. For example, why should he tell the two from the Qin family? If he told them, what would he do if there was a flaw? Not to mention, the son of the great Han King was quite good at acting. He cried out at the top of his lungs again and again. It was all right, but it was a bit too exaggerated. The great Qin king thought to himself. As for the others, there was no need to know. He still had some worries in his heart. According to what he and the great Zhou king thought, the best outcome this time wasn't to kill the invincible of 10,000 races, or to have a few more people from the human race to verify the Tao. Instead, when the great Han King jumped out, that traitor also jumped out and told everyone that the great Han King was fake. In the end, there was no result. He was too tolerant. But fortunately, this fellow did not dare to jump out for a short period of time. Moreover, now that you said that the human race had a traitor who was invincible, no one might believe you. Perhaps they would even joke about who you were trying to scam. Old Zhou and the others are more adept at playing dirty. Sighing in his heart, the great Qin king sighed. Playing dirty? I can't do it. This time, everything went smoothly. The four of them verified their Tao and killed an invincible, severely injuring more than 10 of them. The other invincible were also heavily injured. The human realm was also very powerful, killing many invincible. This was something he had not expected. It was much better than what he had expected. The great Qin king was very satisfied. Actually, even if Xia Longwu really died, it was still acceptable. On the side, the great Xia king seemed to know what he was thinking, and his eyes turned cold. Your son has successfully achieved the Tao. Do you want to leave? Gritting his teeth, the great Xia king said gloomily, there are too many unrivaled warriors in the human realm. The great Han king had taken away 4 people, too many. If he didn't kill the great Han king, it would be a loss. In fact, he didn't need to take away so many people. However, the great Han king was clearly still worried that there were too many invincible in this place, and it would affect the other people's Tao attainment. As for the interior of the human realm, it couldn't be that Zhu Tiandao had killed invincible and caused the great Han king to have such thoughts, right? It looked like the battle strength of the interior of the human realm was still very strong. And at this moment, the great Ming king, who was blocking those invincible attacks in the endless void, also had a gloomy expression. Second brother killed invincible. The great Han king brought 4 in, he wouldn't be prepared to give one to second brother, right? How did second brother kill invincible? I'm his father, I didn't even know that he could kill invincible, my second brother hit it too deeply. This is that he doesn't even trust his father. But the Darming king isn't at ease. The great Han king wouldn't do that, right? Give an invincible to his second brother. The second brother seems to have already started a war with an invincible. Of course, according to everyone's thoughts, if you can kill one, then you can fight 2. It's just that you can't kill the other party. But in a battle, it's still possible to tangle for a while. Too strong. With the powerful Zhu Tiandao around, it wouldn't be a problem to intercept one more invincible. And at this moment, looking at the time passage exploding and 5 incomparably powerful figures appearing in the human realm, Zhu Tiandao's heart slightly palpitated. What's wrong? What am I palpitating for? They returned to defend Xia Longwu, the great Qin king said calmly, what is this? Fun Hai's identity has long been exposed. Old Zhou insisted on using it. The 10,000 heavenly saints has been hiding for many years. Let him vent his anger and let them prove his Tao. What is this? F***CK. So you all know. The great Qin king didn't say much, and not many people knew. The great Zhou king, the great Qin king, the great Xia king, the great Ming king, and the great Han king were just a few of them. As for the descendants, some had been told, and some had not been told. Those who trusted their descendants, then told. Those who didn't trust. It wasn't that they didn't trust. Those who couldn't put on an act, then didn't tell. For example, why should he tell the two from the Qin family? If he told them, what would he do if there was a flaw? Not to mention, the son of the great Han king was quite good at acting. He cried out at the top of his lungs again and again. It was all right, but it was a bit too exaggerated. The great Qin king thought to himself. As for the others, there was no need to know. He still had some worries in his heart. According to what he and the great Zhou king thought, the best outcome this time wasn't to kill the invincible of 10,000 races, or to have a few more people from the human race to verify the Tao. Instead, when the great Han king jumped out, that traitor also jumped out and told everyone that the great Han king was fake. In the end, there was no result. He was too tolerant. But fortunately, this fellow did not dare to jump out for a short period of time. Moreover, now that you said that the human race had a traitor who was invincible, no one might believe you. Perhaps they would even joke about who you were trying to scam. Old Zhou and the others are more adept at playing dirty. Sighing in his heart, the great Qin king sighed. Playing dirty? I can't do it. This time, everything went smoothly. The four of them verified their Tao and killed an invincible, severely injuring more than 10 of them. The other invincible were also heavily injured. The human realm was also very powerful, killing many invincible. This was something he had not expected. It was much better than what he had expected. The great Qin king was very satisfied. Actually, even if Xia Longwu really died, it was still acceptable. On the side, the great Xia king seemed to know what he was thinking, and his eyes turned cold. Your son has successfully achieved the Tao. Do you want to leave? Gritting his teeth, the great Xia king said gloomily, there are too many unrivaled warriors in the human realm. The great Han king had taken away 4 people, too many. If he didn't kill the great Han king, it would be a loss. In fact, he didn't need to take away so many people. However, the great Han king was clearly still worried that there were too many invincible in this place, and it would affect the other people's Tao attainment. As for the interior of the human realm, it couldn't be that Zhu Tiandao had killed invincible and caused the great Han king to have such thoughts, right? It looked like the battle strength of the interior of the human realm was still very strong. And at this moment, the great Ming king, who was blocking those invincible attacks in the endless void, also had a gloomy expression. Second brother killed invincible. The great Han king brought 4 in, he wouldn't be prepared to give 1 to second brother, right? How did second brother kill invincible? I'm his father, I didn't even know that he could kill invincible, my second brother hit it too deeply. This is that he doesn't even trust his father. But the Darming king isn't at ease. The great Han king wouldn't do that, right? Give an invincible to his second brother. The second brother seems to have already started a war with an invincible. Of course, according to everyone's thoughts, if you can kill one, then you can fight 2. It's just that you can't kill the other party. But in a battle, it's still possible to tangle for a while. Too strong. With the powerful Zhu Tiandao around, it wouldn't be a problem to intercept 1 more invincible. And at this moment, looking at the time passage exploding and 5 incomparably powerful figures appearing in the human realm, Zhu Tiandao's heart slightly palpitated. What's wrong? What am I palpitating for? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2215. 2215 Chapter 485 The undefeated in the human realm still depended on Suyuan. The human realm. An invincible aura covered the heaven and earth. In an instant, 5 undefeatable warriors entered the human realm, and the great Han King swept through the 4 undefeatable warriors. The few undefeatable warriors who entered instantly shouted angrily, "Mo he, Tian Dang, quickly kill the opponent and help us kill Lu Jin. Bastard! Liar! To think that we helped you open the passage, so you lied to us. Damn it, damn it!" The great Han King was strong, but not to the point of being unrivaled. Furthermore, the time passage had been destroyed, and the great Han King had been heavily injured. Although the 4 unrivaled experts were also injured, they were much lighter than the great Han King. An injured great Han King had swept the 4 unrivaled experts over, looking for death. Of course, everyone knew that the great Han dynasty had swept them over with some confidence. As expected, the voice of the great Han dynasty shook the void and said in a deep voice, "Tian Dao, kill Mo he and join forces to kill these beasts." Silence. Zhu Tiandao glanced at Mo he, and Mo he's expression changed slightly. He looked at Zhu Tiandao and took a few steps back. Zhu Tiandao's expression was indifferent as he frowned slightly. "Is killing the Demon King that easy? You're making trouble for me." His heart had long gone crazy. F***ck. Are you crazy? I only picked up the corpse by accident. I can't really kill the immortal king easily. Are you guys trying to kill me? Speaking of which, it was really easy for him to kill the immortal king. Everyone felt that it was normal for him to be able to suppress the invincible. The one who hid the deepest in the old Zhu family was not Zhu Tianfang, but this Zhu Diyuan. There were even people who judged that he might be stronger than Yi Batian and the others back then. Old Zhu's second brother had really hidden himself too deeply. Too terrifying. Even the great Han King had misjudged. In reality, it wasn't that he was taking the risk, but that both sides were in danger. The heavenly battlefield was also dangerous, so if he could pull one more, he would be one more. Since Zhu's second brother could hold on, he naturally had to make the most of it. At this moment, which invincible one wasn't fighting the strong with the weak, fighting the many with the few. On the other side, the last He Demon King's expression was solemn. Danger. In the ruins, the sun and moon battle gradually stopped. More and more people died in battle. The remaining people were all experts. In addition to the unrivaled chaotic battle, these people were also trying to save their lives. At this moment, there were fewer people surrounding Su Yu. They began to prepare to snatch the treasures. As for Su Yu, the stone sculpture had told him to leave earlier. He hadn't finished his business yet and still had to drag these geniuses along. How could he leave? At this moment, Su Yu also shouted, "Manor Head, kill that fellow and congratulate Manor Head." Old Zhu was too powerful. Kill. After killing that demon king, he went to help the great Han King. At this moment, they all knew that the great Han King had actually disguised his betrayal. It was unexpected. However, he had brought 4 unrivaled experts. There were too many of them. The great Han King could not hold on. Currently, everyone else was fighting with difficulty. Only Zhu Tiandao was still relatively relaxed. He had not unleashed his full strength yet. After killing this demon king, he would go and help. There was no need for them to say anything. At this moment, a godly king quickly flew toward Zhu Tiandao. He shouted, "Mo he, join hands to kill him." One Mo he was not enough. This Zhu Tiandao's strength was terrifying, so they would join hands to kill him. Zhu Tiandao's face was really green. Stop fooling around. One Mo he could kill me. Another one came. Was he planning to beat me into minced meat? And that bastard Su Yu, what are you trying to do? It wasn't just Su Yu. At this moment, Lord Xia Ho also shouted, "Zhu Lauer, get rid of them. Manor Head, you've hidden yourself so deeply. Keep them occupied." Niu Bidao also sighed. The Zhu family was still extremely fortunate. Envy. Too much envy. Zhu Tianfang was the minister of the Huang department and had already succeeded in attaining the Dao. Zhu Tiandao had hidden himself well. He had suddenly erupted and killed an immortal king. At this moment, he could even fight against two immortal kings alone. Didn't you see how serious the two unrivaled experts were? No wonder he couldn't win against Zhu Tiandao back then. His luck was too strong. The entire family was a monster. Zhu Tiandao wasn't unrivaled, he was almost unrivaled. Only the great Zhou family could compare to the Zhu family. The Xia family was invincible in many aspects, but in terms of killing invincible, even the southern borderless and the primitive world couldn't do it. There was still some hope for the two of them to fight the invincible three-generation avatar. As for the 10,000 heavenly saints, he was now half-crippled. Only 6 out of the 24 divine runes exploded. Tragic. As for the 10,000 heavenly saints, he didn't have the mood to care about Zhu Tiandao at this moment. Zhu Tiandao could block and kill the invincible him, so he naturally knew how difficult it was to kill invincible. If they didn't fight to the death, they could still tie down the two invincible ones. At this moment, he sighed. As expected, I fell for it. Everyone was setting up a trap. He was lying low, while the great Zhou king and the others were lying low and waiting. They were using the fall of Yi Batian as an opportunity. 51 years ago, Yi Batian died in battle. These people had probably started investigating, setting up a trap, and waiting. If he hadn't been able to lure out Fan Hai, perhaps Fan Hai would have died as well. If he hadn't been able to kill Fan Hai, Zhang Qi, who was also the third generation of the Dark Han King, would probably have made a move as well. Of course, that wouldn't necessarily have been the case. Clearly, these unrivaled experts had made many preparations. If he was suspecting them, how could these fellows not be suspecting him as well? In fact, they were even wary of him. This time, how many people knew that the Dark Han King had disguised his betrayal? The 10,000 heavenly saints didn't know. Clearly, there were also people who suspected the 10,000 heavenly saints. There were people who knew that his 3 lifetimes had been destroyed. It was normal for those who knew of his strength to doubt him. His strength was formidable, but he wasn't invincible. He was often together with Yi Batian. Stealing Yi Batian's information, killing Yi Batian, privately challenging the Burning Sea King, humiliating him. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2216. 2216 Chapter 485, Undefeated in the Human Realm, still depended on Su Yu too. Other people might not be able to do it, but he, the 10,000 heavenly saints, might be able to disguise himself to the extreme. Yi Batian wasn't invincible, and he wasn't invincible either. Disguising as Yi Batian and coming from the same sect, his suspicion, was greater than anyone else. His strength was on par with Yi Batian, and disguising as Yi Batian was a multi-divine text. The 10,000 heavenly saints laughed at himself. Yes, if it were me, how could I not doubt it? He had killed Fan Hai. Perhaps, these people still felt that he was killing them to silence them. He sighed in his heart and did not say anything else. As for the invulnerability attack, he could not deal with the invulnerability now, so he could only look at the others. However, he had at least recovered some strength. The 10,000 heavenly saints glanced around and instantly charged toward Lan Tian. Lan Tian was no match for Lad, and he had been completely suppressed. If there was no one to save him, Lan Tian wouldn't be able to hold on any longer. This fellow was trying to establish his Tao. Could he succeed in establishing his Tao under such circumstances? Everyone was waiting for Zhu Tiandao to show his might. They were waiting for Zhu Tiandao to fight 1 against 2. Zhu Tiandao was going crazy. I can't do it, I really can't. Stop fooling around. They're all here. I can't stop them. Help. This wasn't a joke. Once he couldn't stop them, the two unrivaled experts would kill him. Soon, the other regions would be destroyed. Soon, Tian Dang, Mo He, and the new godly king would be freed. After killing Lan Tian and the others, Lada would be freed. At this point, the entire human realm battlefield would collapse. If the Dark Han King wanted to die, they all had to die. If it was more serious, the entire human race would be in big trouble. Zhu Tiandao really did not expect that the Dark Han King would place his hopes on him. This was too much of a scam. Once the scheme was exposed and collapsed, the entire human race would be in great danger. Are you an idiot? Idiot! What a scam! Zhu Tiandao madly thought and cursed in his heart. He thought of the Great Han King. Great Han King, don't mess around. Really, don't mess around. Something bad is going to happen. Something big is going to happen. I picked up that immortal king earlier. His 3 incarnations were killed outside the realm. It has nothing to do with me. He kept thinking. This wasn't a small matter. He couldn't mess around. Once he collapsed, the entire human realm would collapse. He really didn't expect that he could casually kill an immortal king's 3 incarnations and suddenly become the most crucial part of the human realm. In the air, the Great Han King was fighting with the 3 invincible masters. He was injured, so he couldn't even fight 3 at the moment, let alone 4. He still hoped that Zhu Tiandao and the others would help him after successfully attaining Dao. At the very least, he had to hold on until these invincible masters retreated. And this time was after Xiaolongu attained Dao. Whether he succeeded or failed, the invincible masters of the human race would return. The 10,000 races didn't want to fight with dozens of invincible masters now. At that time, all the other races would have to retreat. Xiaolongu needed a long time to attain Dao. On this point, he could not be like the others because Xiaolongu was strong enough. Because Xiaolongu had stared at too many people, it was not suitable for him to tamper with his body. Therefore, he had to at least drag it out until Xiaolongu attained Dao. This time, the human realm had made a great contribution. They had entangled many invincible humans in one go. Those who were killed, those who were entangled, and those who had the projection power attached to those geniuses were all entangled. Otherwise, it would be even more difficult for the human realm this time. The Great Han King was in the middle of a battle. His main strength was still very strong. He didn't have as many methods as the average civilized master, but his battle strength was extremely strong. At this moment, one big 3 was at a disadvantage, but he could barely hold on. He had also calculated this point, which was why he had pulled 4 people over. Very soon, he seemed to have sensed something. Zhu Tiandao was also a strong person, and he kept calling out to him. The distance was also close, so he could more or less sense something. It wasn't too clear. He only vaguely felt that Zhu Tiandao was very impatient, helpless, and on the verge of collapse. The Great Han King's heart skipped a beat. Was he injured just now? Or was it something else? He had to hold on. Once he collapsed, something big would happen. And at this moment, the second godly monarch descended. He and Mo stood separately and surrounded Zhu Tiandao. Zhu Tiandao, on the other hand, had a smile on his face the entire time. The 2 of you really think highly of me. I'm not Yibatian, why do you need 2 invincible godly monarchs to deal with me? He smiled and said, the 2 of you, why don't you take a step back? If you help me attain the Tao, I won't make things difficult for you. How about we become friends? *CK, it was fortunate that he was not from the blood fire demon race. Otherwise, he would be finished if he started fighting. The new godly monarch said coldly, how much combat power do you have left? I don't believe that you didn't suffer any losses after killing Alderwood Immortal King. He felt that Zhu Tiandao must have paid a great price. Of course, even so, he could kill a second one. Just like the 10,000 heavenly saints, when he killed the underworld river king, no one thought that he could kill a second one. The facts prove that if Fan Hai didn't show up, Lad would definitely die. In the end, Burning Sea was also killed by him, and only then did the 10,000 heavenly saints get crippled. It was not surprising that he was on guard against these treacherous people in the human realm. Zhu Tiandao smiled and said, "Of course, the loss is not small. Don't worry, if the two of you really join hands, unless I completely cripple myself, I don't have the ability to kill the second one. In other words, if I really cripple myself, I can still kill one. It all depends on which one of you I kill." In the void. Xing Hong wanted to laugh as he watched the show. This Zhu Tiandao was probably so scared that his legs went soft. The human race was walking on a precipice. If he was careless, all the human experts present today would probably be finished. "Su Yu, it's time to leave. What are you waiting for? If you don't leave now, you won't be able to leave." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2217. 2217 Chapter 485, Undefeated in the Human Realm. It all depends on Su Yu 3. Lord Stone Statue, give me a little more time. I'll keep these guys busy. When the great Han King or Manor Head Zhu wins, I'll leave. Win. Win my ass. Stone Statue cursed silently. He couldn't win. How could he win? He was counting on Zhu Tiandao to fight two people at once and kill the two of them. Don't joke around. After all, he was just pretending. If this continued, the two unrivaled experts would definitely test him. Once they did, whoops, he was done for. Don't wait anymore. Zhu Tiandao took advantage of us. He didn't kill the immortal king, he just accidentally destroyed his future body. He's done for. Su Yu was slightly stunned. Bang! It was Zhan Wushuang again. He punched Su Yu until he vomited blood. Su Yu was furious. He turned around and punched Zhan Wushuang hundreds of times. Zhan Wushuang also vomited blood. Of course, Su Yu was beaten up by others again. He recovered quickly. Zhan Wushuang panted heavily. "Su Yu, if we continue fighting like this, there won't be any benefits. Why don't we split the ruins? I insist on fighting." Su Yu was fighting these guys crazily while cursing in his heart. What was going on? Old Zhu was a fake. Holy shit. Wasn't he courting death? This guy was desperate for face and insisted on lying. Now, he was done for. Zhu Tiandao probably felt very wronged. Who the F***ck lied to him? It wasn't the case. He couldn't possibly say that he didn't kill the immortal king and that he killed himself, right? He was in big trouble. Originally, including Lad, there were still 3 unrivaled realm experts on this side. Now, there were 4 more, a total of 7 unrivaled realm experts in the human realm. Zhu Tianfang's main body couldn't come now. He didn't know if his main body would be killed. In the true sense, other than the great Han King, there was no one unrivaled in the human race. 1 against 7. If it was so powerful, the great Han King could become the number 1 human. Su Yu was also frightened. Soon, he quickly said in his mind, "Sir, can you help the human race? I am your most loyal subordinate. If the human race is destroyed, then I. No, the Guardian cannot participate in this. This is the rule of the universe. The rule, understand? You cannot go against it. If you go against the rule, it will be very troublesome. For example, the Death Spirit Monarch can freely enter and exit the passage. That would be chaos. Rules." Su Yu cursed in his heart and quickly said, "Sir, I'm your city lord. These people beat me up to beat you up. If you can do it in the ancient city, you can do it here, right? That's fine. You want me to help you beat these geniuses to death? The stone sculpture glanced down. Beating these geniuses to death wasn't impossible. It was just a little troublesome. It was fine. Beating them to death was fine too. No, those invincible people attacked me, can you help me kill them? Xinghong felt that Su Yu was pushing his luck. How could this be? I'm not your fighter. No. Rejected. Sir, do me a favor, or else I'll die too. If I die, you won't be able to leave the city. Without someone to bear the aura of death for you, are you willing to be a stone statue that can't move for the rest of your life? I've already seen through it. If you want to go out, you'll have to rely on me. As he spoke, Su Yu hurriedly said, Sir, the situation is very dangerous now. I beg for your help. Only the stone statues could help. No, the 36 city guards won't participate in this. Once we participate, you won't really think that the 36 city guards are invincible, right? Right now, it's just that there's no conflict of interest. Once there's a conflict of interest, then the 10,000 races will surround and kill us. We can't die. Xinghong hesitated for a moment, but he still refused. That won't do. Especially under such circumstances, they couldn't act rashly and change the overall situation. Otherwise, once the 10,000 races surrounded and attacked, the 36 stone statues wouldn't be invincible. If the 10,000 races could surround and kill the humans, then they could naturally surround and kill them. The 36 stone sculptures had other missions. If they were to go all out, they would probably be on par with the humans. They were not as strong as the gods, demons, and immortals. Of course, the humans were not weak. If they were to really attack, they would be on par with the three great races. The stone sculptures also had missions. Hearing the stone sculptures' reply, Su Yu was a little disappointed and also a little desperate. F***ck. He was in a good mood just now. The great Han King was not a traitor. Zhu Tiandao had hidden himself so deeply that he could kill invincible. He was not afraid even if 4 came. But all of a sudden, everything was broken. Now, perhaps no one knew old Zhu's actual situation, but very soon, everyone would know. Su Yu could imagine how desperate and helpless old Zhu was at this moment. Once he was broken through, he would die first, and the next to die would definitely be the great Han King. As long as he killed these experts, the others would still be at the mercy of the 10,000 races. The stone sculpture was very strong, but it was also a variable. But this person said that he couldn't make a move. He couldn't make a move for no reason and caused the 10,000 races to besiege him. Su Yu knew that it wasn't good to force the stone sculpture at this time, but the stone sculpture was his last hope. No, Su Yu thought of something. He gritted his teeth and hesitated. In the Sea of Will, little hairy ball was also very helpless. It licked the divine runes and was prepared to be crushed to death. The fragrance came again. It could feel it. Yes. Su Yu thought of this. Su Yu was very helpless and also very dejected. He transmitted his voice, sorry, I'm sorry. I can only do this. I lured you into the human realm. Perhaps when you come, the human race will find a chance. He said telepathically to the stone sculpture, Lord Stone Sculpture, thank you very much. I know I can't force anything, and I shouldn't. You can leave now. The human realm is going to be very dangerous. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2218. 2218 Chapter 485 The Undefeated, still depends on Su Yu 4. Danger. The stone sculpture thought, and the next moment, he looked at Su Yu and saw a small hairy ball in his Sea of Will, as if it was going to sacrifice itself generously. The stone sculpture was stunned for a moment. What did it mean? He was a little confused. No, very soon, he had some understanding. He saw, no, he felt it, Su-yu. F***ck. No. F***ck. No, Big Hairy Ball even said hello to him before he left to take care of the little guy. F***ck, was Su-yu going to squash it to death? He must be crazy. Not only the god-devouring semi-emperor, but the god-devouring clan also had an old queen who was not weaker than the semi-emperor. This clan probably only had little Hairy Ball as a descendant. He could imagine how difficult it was for this clan to give birth to this little guy. If he died right under his nose, and it was my city lord who crushed him to death. The old semi-emperor had even informed him beforehand, the devouring god clan was not a good clan. If they were really good, they would not go around devouring people. They only looked cute. In fact, under the cute appearance of this clan, there was blood, brutality, and disregard for life. If they killed the descendants of this race and were the only descendants, the 36 ancient cities would be in trouble. Wait. At this moment, the stone sculpture quickly transmitted his voice, don't worry. Don't be afraid. You are my city lord. As the guardian, you have to stand up for your city lord. Su-yu, who was about to strangle Hairy Ball to death and kill all these geniuses, was stunned. Did the stone statue change its mind? In the sky, Xing Hong was sweating. He was the only stone statue. If he wasn't a stone statue, he would be sweating. Old Half-Emperor and the others were just outside the human realm. They were not far away and they were in control of a human realm passage that no one knew about. Of course, if the two experts of the devouring god clan could destroy 36 stone statues, they overestimated the devouring god clan. Not to mention other things, once Big Brother appeared, it was not impossible to defeat the devouring god half-emperor. If 3 or 5 more of them came, it was not impossible for them to defeat the queen or the devouring god. But, was it really necessary? At least now, they were not considered as a group or enemies. And the key was still on Su-yu. The stone sculptures were helpless. I just came to take a look and take you away at the same time. What are you doing? It was a headache. Su-yu, it's still not good for me to casually attack at the human realm. Su-yu was depressed. However, you can lure them out. Once they're out of the human realm, if they attack you from the heavens, I'll make a move. Su-yu was even more depressed. This won't do. Even if I go out and lure them out, firstly, Invincible might not chase after me. Secondly, the distance is too far. The Sky Mansion is thousands of miles away from here. The stone sculpture was also thinking, very quickly, he said, the yellow armor beside you is a teleportation expert. I'll give you a coordinate and you can teleport there. Or you can just let the yellow armor bring you there and let eternity chase after you. When we get there, I can help you solve your problem. We can't do it here. It's not suitable for us to do it in the human realm. If I do it here, it will easily cause more trouble. At that time, it won't just be you and me. What was the big trouble? The passage. That was the biggest trouble. Su-yu was still thinking when the stone sculpture said, there are godly kings and demon kings who surrounded and killed Zhu Tiandao, you killed a few geniuses, took away the tombstone, and took away the ruins. They might come after you. Su-yu instantly understood. Yes. No. Huang Jia. A teleportation expert. So powerful. He looked at Huang Jia. At this moment, Huang Jia was still a little far away from him and was loitering nearby. He wasn't even close to the center of the ruins. He was so low-key that it was frightening. He hadn't even fought with anyone. If the stone sculpture said that he was an expert, then he must be a true expert. There were hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Sir, will Huang Jia bring me to a teleportation? Think of a way yourself. If it doesn't work, capture that Huangjiu. I think he still places some importance on that Huangjiu. I can't make a move here. It'll be easy for others to notice. The place you're going to isn't the heavenly residence, nor is it another passageway. Eternal will chase after you, so there's not much to worry about. Su Yu understood. He was also somewhat surprised. There was a passageway. All right, the stone sculpture might have come from here. Forget it, I won't squash the ball to death. In the sea of will, little hairy ball licked the divine text and prepared to eat it with tears in its eyes. I'm about to die. Eat it, pinch it. Before dying, eating a few of your divine texts shouldn't be considered excessive, right? Little hairy ball licked the divine text with the word calamity. It licked it until it glowed. It was ready to eat the calamity first, then the fire of the inheritance, then the text that had just been sketched, and then the silence. Finally, after it finished eating, it could rush to the depths of the fragrant sea of will, lick the most fragrant one. Even if it couldn't eat it, it still had to lick it. It had to be a full-to-death ball. Just as he was thinking and was about to take a bite, Su Yu suddenly cursed in his mind, "What? Shut up. If you lick it again, it'll be gone." This ball only knew how to lick the divine inscriptions all day long. Don't get down to business. I didn't pinch you to death, so why are you licking it? Su Yu stopped little hairy ball and looked at the geniuses around him. They were all half dead from exhaustion, and so was Su Yu. He looked at these people and thought to himself, I have to kill a few of them. This will cause Invincible to be furious and take notice of me. Then, I'll take away the tombstone, take away the object, and let Invincible chase after me. Yes. That's right. Also, I'll have to kidnap Huangjiu and get Huangjia to take me away. Otherwise, I'll beat Huangjiu to death. Since the stone sculpture said so, then Huangjiu and Huangjia must have a special relationship. Out of the corner of his eye, Su Yu glanced at Huangjiu who was stealing his heaven yuan qi from the periphery and cursed silently. This time, he had suffered a heavy loss as well. Someone was stealing heaven yuan qi and the sun-moon mysterious yellow liquid. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2219 2219 Chapter 485, Undefeated in the Human Realm. It all depended on Su Yu 5. On the other hand, the object and the tombstone were still in the middle of them. No one could get close to them. This was bait. Su Yu had not taken them before. They were all there. The others wanted to take them, but they were also stopped by others. Everyone was doing this. Whoever took them would be a sinner. Old Zhu is dealing with the demon king and the godly king. Xian Jia and the others are dealing with the godly king. In other words, if one killed a genius of the celestial race, he might be hunted down by two godly monarchs. If one killed a demon, it should be possible. On the side of the demon race, the most important person was Maduane. However, this grandson did not end up in the end. He had been wandering around the periphery. Zhan Wushuang, this grandson, had beaten me many times. Maduane, you are lucky. Then kill Zhan Wushuang. After taking the tombstone and the object, I instantly captured Huangjiu and forced Huangjia to send me away. Yes, that's it. Before this, Su Yu had been dragging them. He wanted to make the invincible ones who were attached to them unable to participate in the battle. But at this stage, he couldn't control the heavenly battlefield. He could only solve the crisis of the human realm first. Sure enough, each of them couldn't be at ease. It was up to him. They had agreed that they would solve the problem by becoming invincible this time. Old One also vowed that he could solve it, but he was really unreliable. He thought that Old One was so strong that he would be useless after killing two invincible people. Of course, in the myriad realms of the heavens, there were probably not many who had killed two invincible people. Su Yu gritted his teeth. At this moment, he was still fighting with the geniuses like before. There were exchanges. Qin Hao, who was not far away, said via voice transmission, "General Qin, can you hear me?" Qin Hao was being beaten up by a 9th-level Sun-Moon expert of the Heavenly Abyss clan. The third and second were the most miserable. If it wasn't for his strength, he would have been beaten to death. His strength was really not bad, but he had fought for too long today. Previously, he was beaten up by quasi-invincible, and now he was beaten up by 9th-level Sun-Moon expert. His injuries were really not light. At this moment, hearing Su Yu's voice transmission, he was a little weak. He transmitted his voice, "Is there something wrong? Are you here to help me? Don't come. Your side is also in trouble." "No, later. I mean later. You break out and defeat the 9th level of the Sun and Moon in an instant. Then, help me block the yellow armor for an instant. It will be done in an instant. F*CKU. Are you F*King not a human anymore? How could it be so simple? Let me defeat a 9th-level Sun-Moon realm first. Then, I'll deal with the 8th-level Sun-Moon realm yellow armor. If I was that powerful, I would have killed them long ago." Su Yu said it quite easily. Qin Laoer still looked very powerful. Very domineering. The third Laoer appeared. He was the most domineering. With the black armor on his body and the long spear waving, he was invincible in 8th-level battles. Now, he defeated the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm in an instant. Then, he defeated the yellow armor, giving me a chance to catch Huangjiu. It shouldn't be difficult, right? Second Xia was almost invincible, second Zhu was invincible. How could it be difficult for him to defeat a 9th-level Sun-Moon warrior? General Qin, you can do it. It's very important. It concerns the life and death of the human race. If you fail, the human realm will be in danger of being destroyed today. Scaremongering. Second Qin cursed in his heart. How could it be so exaggerated? The human race might be lagging behind in the heavenly battlefield, but we can still do it in the human realm. Although there are many invincible races coming, but we also have many experts. Moreover, could Su Yu decide the life and death of the human race? Stop fooling around. Although he felt that it was not reliable and was exaggerating, Su Yu said it nervously. He gritted his teeth and transmitted his voice, "Good." Ah. In front of him was a voice transmission, and behind him was the heavenly abyss race, which was at the 9th layer of the Sun and Moon. A divine text pierced through his hand bone, and he let out a miserable cry. For a moment, Su Yu felt that it was somewhat unreliable. Could this work? However, in his vicinity, including the vicinity of the yellow armor, this person was the strongest. General Manager Hu and the others were about to be beaten to death, and only Qin Laoer seemed to be able to hold on. He gritted his teeth. He didn't care anymore. No matter how much old Zhu could deceive them, after a few times, the two unrivaled experts would also become suspicious. Once they really made a move, they would be instantly destroyed, and the entire battle situation would change. As expected, I still have to rely on myself. At this moment, Su Yu was once again struck by Zhan Wushuang's punch, spitting out blood. Zhan Wushuang's expression turned cold. Among those present, his strength could be considered to be the strongest. Since the start of the battle with Su Yu, 70% of the injuries on Su Yu's body were caused by him. Of course, his injuries were not light either. At this moment, he was not surprised at all when he once again punched Su Yu until he vomited blood. Su Yu's recovery ability was also very strong. The difference in strength between them was not big, so it was very difficult to kill Su Yu. It all depended on who could last longer. They had the invincible or even half-emperor bonus, but what about Su Yu? Relying on the aura of death. Was he really not afraid that the aura of death would completely corrode him to death? If this dragged on, who would win and who would lose would be hard to predict. This time, just like before, Suyu once again crazily charged at him. It was the same before. Suyu would take revenge for the smallest grievance. Every time he was injured by Suyu, he had to take revenge. This time, it was not unexpected. Rumble. Suyu was suppressing him while the others were attacking Suyu from behind. They were exchanging injuries for injuries. Zhan Wushuang did not care about getting injured. At his level, there were not many who were afraid of death. If they were not willing to pay, how could they gain anything? This time, Suyu's attack was exceptionally long. He had beaten Zhan Wushuang until he vomited blood. He was also beaten to the point where his flesh and blood were flying everywhere and his bones were broken. The quiet word and the calamity word were activated to shield Zhan Wushuang's sense of danger. These geniuses were extremely sensitive to these things. Once their killing intent was exposed, these guys would have some ability to escape. And at this moment, Suyu's calamity word exploded. It was not aimed at Zhan Wushuang, but at Dao Cheng. Dao Cheng's expression changed. He shouted, "Stop him." You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 2220. 2220 Chapter 485, Undefeated in the Human Realm. It all depended on Suyu 6. Suyu wanted to kill him with all his might. He could feel it, and his senses were extremely sharp. At this moment, a huge hammer flew rapidly towards Dao Cheng. This hammer was also going all out, and the divine text and willpower burst forth. Kill. Suyu's killing intent burst forth. It was incomparably terrifying. Xian Wuji, Mingyu, and the others roared. Some people blocked his hammer, while others slashed towards Suyu's head. Zhan Wushuang, who had been suppressed miserably just now, did not waste any words. He pressed forward once again, wanting to beat Suyu to death. These geniuses still had a tacit understanding. They could not give Suyu the chance to kill someone alone. This kind of situation was the worst. In the end, it might be everyone's misfortune. Therefore, when Dao Cheng was attacked, everyone would do their best to help. As for that huge hammer, it was also incomparably valiant. Suyu said angrily, "Kill Dao Cheng, and I won't stop you guys from snatching the tombstone." No one paid attention to him. Bastard! Suyu was about to punch Dao Cheng. Dao Cheng was in great danger. He only felt that a great disaster was approaching. The calamity word divine script was being activated. His perception told him that it was very dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Dao Cheng's expression changed. He shouted, "Surround and kill him." Suyu was determined to kill him. Behind him, Zhan Wushuang was close to Suyu. He did not feel any sense of danger. It was very weak. This was very normal. It had always been there. Which genius did not have keen senses? At this moment, Suyu's young aperture was fully opened. His blood essence was devoured. His demonic arrival and divine transformation talent skills were activated one after another. The 5 elements cage's restriction exploded. In an instant, the 5 elements cage trapped Zhan Wushuang. Demonic arrival divine transformation talent skill added to his body. Suyu's combat strength soared. The talent skill 3 heads and 6 arms appeared. 4 hands suddenly grew out from his back. The 4 hands clenched their fists and attacked Zhan Wushuang together. Zhan Wushuang roared. The 5 elements cage was about to break. At this moment, a small hairy ball appeared and disappeared in an instant, biting towards his sea of consciousness. As for Suyu's 4 hands, with all their strength, a powerful aura of death filled the sky and earth. split open the sky. Within the 144 yuan apertures, the saber chi exploded one after another. It was the saber chi from Xiaolongwu. This was the first time that Su Yu had used all his strength to use this saber chi. Whing! With a slash, the saber chi shot towards the sky and earth. In the sky, Lord Xiaoho was almost pulled by the saber chi. He was stunned for a moment and looked down. He could not help but curse in his heart. Why did this saber chi feel stronger than his own? It was not stronger than his, but its quality was quite high. It was a bit like my nephew had personally descended. Whing! The sound of the saber reverberated in all directions. With one saber strike, he killed with 4 hands. With 2 hands holding the saber and 2 fists clenched, he charged towards Zhan Wushuang at the same time. Zhan Wushuang's expression changed. The blood essence in his body suddenly exploded. He burned his blood essence and activated his God transformation talent skill, but it was too late. With a loud bang, his 2 fists punched 2 huge holes in his body. The long saber fell and cut him into 2 halves. The Sea of Will appeared and the little hairy ball swallowed it in one gulp. Su Yu's heart moved. If he killed him, would the Protoss still chase after him? This was even better. Eat it later. Su Yu roared. The little hairy ball also flew back instantly without saying anything. The others were slightly shaken. With a loud bang, Su Yu's bones broke and his flesh exploded. However, Su Yu instantly turned into a breeze and disappeared on the spot. In the air, he grabbed the tombstone. He conveniently grabbed 2 pieces of bearing objects. Ordinary people wouldn't be able to grab the bearing objects, but Su Yu was fine. He put them in by himself. Naturally, there was some spiritual force traction. As for one tombstone, it was a little strange. Did the spiritual force pulling it in wear out? Why was it gone? Su Yu didn't think too much about it. There was no time. He grabbed these things. On the other side, Qin Hao suddenly roared. His roar shook the sky. He thrust out his spear and spat out 3 liters of blood. It was as if he was going to give it his all. The 9th layer of the Sun-Moon realm that was fighting with him thought that he was going to self-destruct. He instantly took a few steps back, and Qin Hao stabbed at Huang Jia with his spear. Huang Jia cursed in his heart, "Why are you hitting me? I'm just watching the show." He took a step back, not interested in fighting with Qin Hao. "I'm not your enemy, and I'm ready to leave. Anyway, I've got the tombstone." At this moment, Huang Jia's expression changed. Su Yu turned into a shadow and instantly appeared near him, grabbing Huang Jiao. Huang Jiao let out a blood-curdling scream, and his arm was directly broken by Su Yu. Her strength was not weak, but how could she compare to the current Su Yu? The gap was too big. She also did not expect that Su Yu would not kill the other geniuses, but instead come to kill her. At this moment, Huang Jiao wanted to vomit blood, so vengeful. Could it be because I suspected that he was Su Yu before? Huang Jia's expression also changed, and he shouted, "She is. Send me away, quick." Su Yu was too lazy to talk nonsense and directly sent a coordinate to him. "Quick, or I'll kill Huang Jiao. F***CK. Huang Jia was speechless. I get it. He's threatening me. Is he trying to run? Is he trying to run after getting the good stuff? I get it. Alright, I'll send it to you." He was too lazy to say anything else as he quickly tore through the void and roared, "Go, don't hurt her." The void was torn apart. Su Yu was too lazy to say anything else and quickly left. Outside the ruins, the 2 godly monarchs' expressions changed slightly. Zhan Wushuang's body had exploded. The one tombstone had been taken away by Su Yu. Su Yu wanted to run. Zhan Wushuang was not dead yet. His sea of consciousness was still there. However, his body had exploded, along with the one tombstone and the carrier. The godly monarch who was originally confronting Zhu Tiandao flew through the void with a buzz and chased after Su Yu. Zhu Tiandao heaved a sigh of relief. After thinking for a moment, he gritted his teeth and chased after Su Yu as well. He shouted, "How dare you! Don't hurt Su Yu!" However, he was cursing in his heart. Su Yu was causing trouble. Although he had helped him out of his predicament, weren't you courting death by running away with the best thing? He was also in despair. It's over. When Su Yu was caught, should he make a move? If he didn't make a move, Su Yu would be finished. If he made a move, they would all be finished. Dead, dead, dead. This little bastard Su Yu, had he gone mad? Why was he snatching things at this time? Alright, since he was finished anyway, who cared? Zhu Tiandao was helpless. It was good that he ran further away. If he was exposed, the others still had a chance to escape. Otherwise, if he was exposed here, there would be no chance. Demon King Mu secretly heaved a sigh of relief and cursed. The godly king ran fast and he was already nervous to death. Now, chase him. 2 people together was better than 1 person together. Otherwise, that fellow would be killed by Zhu Tiandao. If he turned around, he would be killed. On the other side, Demon King Lad roared in anger and quickly chased after him. I want the object, I want the tombstone. Otherwise, how could I recover my true body? Wan Tiansheng and Lan Tian coughed up blood and quickly chased after him. What was Su Yu doing? They had agreed that the ruins would be fake to pin them down. Why did you run? Why did you steal your own things? When Zhu Tiandao or the King of Han wins, we will win. They even wondered if Su Yu thought he was going to win and was going to take back his things. What the hell? You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories. Chapter 22-21 22-21 Chapter 486 I, Zhu Tiandao, have collapsed. Show subscribe, 1. Su Yu, you're courting death. Behind him, the godly monarch roared angrily and shouted again, Huang Jia, are you also a human? Huang Jia said sullenly, no. Space tearing, traveling, specializing in space energy. The godly monarch was slightly puzzled. There weren't many experts in the myriad realms who specialized in space energy. Of course, some races were good at it, such as the space beast race. On the human side, it was rare. This yellow-armored man did not look like a human either. If it was true, he would have taken action long ago. In the end, he was just a bystander the entire time. Could it be because of that Huang Jiu? Put down Su Yu. The godly monarch snorted coldly. His pressure covered the world. With a rumble, space was torn apart and shattered. The body of the yellow-armored man twisted and instantly disappeared from the spot. Shuttle. As he shuttled, he gritted his teeth and said, this godly monarch, I will only send him off. Don't make things difficult for me, sir. Humph. The godly monarch was furious. Since when did the sun and moon dare to compete with eternity in such a manner? Did you think that you were amazing just because you were good at space power? Did you really think that invincibility came from the wind? The void was torn apart by him and he instantly traveled dozens of miles. In the blink of an eye, space was torn apart again. As for Huang Jia, he cursed silently. I'm Kong Qingzi. I'm not Kong Kong Kong. Kong Qingzi's words only offended an immortal king. Kong Qingzi killed the son of immortal King Tianxian and only offended immortal King Tianxian. But Kong Kong, that was an existence who stole the coffin of a heavenly ancient immortal emperor. He would be attacked by the immortal race and beaten to death. Kong Qingzi, even though he broke through, he was already at the 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Although spatial energy was strong, it was definitely inferior to Kong Kong. I can't reveal Kong Kong's identity. I can reveal Kong Qingzi's identity. As he thought, Huang Jia also let out a low growl. His aura soared, 9th level of the Sun-Moon realm. Behind him, the godly king was also furious. Heaven hunting pavilion. What the hell did they collect? On the Xian tribe's side, there was Zhou Tianyuan, Nan Wujiang, and Su Yu. On the Huang tribe's side, there was Zhu Tianfang, Huang Jia, and Huang Jiu. Are you guys addicted? While this godly king was thinking, the void was torn apart, and Mo He Demon King was also extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he caught up and said with a smile, "Is Zhan Wushuang okay?" Nonsense. His body had exploded, and his sea of will was still in Su Yu's hands. Do you think he was okay? He knew why Mo he caught up. He was afraid that he was not Zhu Tiandao's match alone. As for Zhu Tiandao, he had a confident expression on his face as he slowly followed behind. Zhu Tiandao was very helpless. It was not that he was confident, it was me, he really could not keep up. Nonsense, he was invincible, and Huang Jia was good at spatial power. He was almost invincible, so how could he keep up? He could not keep up at all. There was no other way. He could only pretend to be a peerless expert. I have to stay calm. Mo he, Hua Ji, you can't escape. Zhu Tiandao's voice was faint. When tombstone is an item of the human race. Why are the two of you chasing after Su Yu? Do you want to fight to the death? As he spoke, 10,000 heavenly saints and blue sky chased after him from behind. 10,000 heavenly saints shouted, "Stop Lada!" Zhu Tiandao was in front. Demon King Lada's expression changed slightly. He took a detour and couldn't meet Zhu Tiandao directly. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome. He was only interested in the object and one tombstone. He had no interest in fighting with Zhu Tiandao. Zhu Tiandao cursed inwardly. Block my head. Lad was slightly faster than him, so he could still block him, but, wouldn't he be exposed if he blocked him? I was still hoping to put on a show to intimidate the two of them. With the 10,000 heavenly saints shout, it was not right for him not to block. His eyeballs blinked as Zhu Tiandao shouted, "The two of you hold him back for a moment, watch me kill him." As he said that, his aura burst out. It was extremely powerful. Zhu Tiandao continuously circulated his yuan qi and willpower as though he was preparing for a powerful move. Lad's expression changed when he saw this. Suddenly, his blood qi burst out as the river of time opened. He instantly vanished and appeared in front of Zhu Tiandao. His face was slightly pale but he did not care about this. He wanted to stay far away from Zhu Tiandao. Zhu Tiandao cursed, "You two trash." He was so angry that he scolded Wan Tiansheng and Lan Tian for being useless. Lan Tian couldn't be bothered with him. Wan Tiansheng frowned slightly and looked at him suspiciously. With Zhu Tiandao's personality, why was he so obvious? Such an obvious big move still needed to be prepared. The immortal king was just standing there waiting for you to kill him. It was a little strange. Wan Tiansheng glanced at him and didn't say anything. He frowned slightly and looked into the distance. Huang Jia was running with Su Yu in this direction, he wasn't going to the heavenly prefecture. If he ran around in the human realm, he would be caught up sooner or later. At this moment, he could only bring Su Yu to the heavenly battlefield. How could he run in the opposite direction? If he ran any further, he would enter the Great Song Mansion. Also, was Zhu Tiandao slow, or what was going on? He had been dawdling all along. At this moment, there were 3 invincible realm experts in front of them. If they really joined forces, he and Lan Tian would at most be able to stop Lad. The other 2 would have to rely on Zhu Tiandao. Old Zhu had never known that he would be so important one day. Of course, he understood everyone's thoughts. But he wanted to cry. When the 10,000 heavenly saints were about to catch up, he turned his head to look at them with a sorrowful and helpless expression, and his lips moved slightly. Go back. Go and kill those guys, then. Run. Don't King chase. If we catch up, shall we deliver the food together? You guys go back and kill those would-be invincible. When you have a chance, take your men and run.